in prison after Supreme Court rejects application for their release.
For the first time in U.S. history, a former president, Donald Trump, has been found guilty of crimes in a court of law.
I'm a very innocent man. I'm fighting for our country. I'm fighting for our Constitution. Our whole country is being rigged right now. This was done by the Biden administration.
Cabinet Minister Matthew Samuda says he started the process to renounce his British citizenship as public row intensifies.
The mother of a 3-year-old boy who was chopped to death in St. Mary has been released from hospital.
He attacked them, the men. He just randomly picked on the men and just beat them and cut them up.
The number of syphilis cases in Jamaica has been trending down.
In news from the rest of the world, Antigua seeks to join Development Bank of Latin America and the Caribbean.
Ukraine allowed to hit some targets in Russia with US-made weapons.
In headline sports, Russell Clayton continues impressive season with big victory at Oslo Diamond League meeting today.
And later in our broadcast, in our cover story at 5:35, the Supreme Court has denied an application to release dancehall star Vybz Cartel and 2 of his 3 co-accused following the quashing of their murder conviction by the UK-based Privy Council. Robin Williams was in the courtroom. She'll join us.
In Public Opinion at 6:26, we ask, what is your reaction to the Supreme Court denying an application to release Vybz Cartel and 2 of his co-accused from prison? Give us your comments by logging on to our Facebook page, Nationwide News Network, and by tweeting us at Nationwide Radio, and message us on WhatsApp at 876-285-5693. You can also leave your comments on Instagram at Nationwide 90FM.
In the nation's business at 6:40, history in the United States. A former president, Donald Trump, has been convicted of crimes, 34 counts of falsifying business records to conceal a hush money payment made to a former porn star. Former member of the Florida State House of Representatives, Mike Hill, will join us.
At 7, Reggae Sunfest is set to have their media launch for the 2024 staging. We'll bring you a live feed.
All these and more as we take you home on air, on your mobile, Nationwide 90FM, nationwideradiojm.com, and on the Nationwide app, available on the Google Play and the App Store. This Thursday afternoon, it's Thursday, May 30, 2024.
News at 5 is brought to you by KFC Hot Wings. Available in hot and spicy barbecue. KFC Hot Wings, a wing for the win. KFC is finger licking good.
If it's news, it's got to be Nationwide 90 FM.
And now to the details. The Supreme Court has rejected an application from Vybz Cartel and 2 of his co-accused, Sean Campbell and Andre St. John, to be released from prison. The men's attorneys had filed an application for a writ of habeas corpus seeking their release. This after the UK-based Privy Council overturned their 2014 convictions for the murder of Clive Lizard Williams. But in a ruling delivered to a packed courtroom Thursday afternoon, Justice Andrea Thomas rejected the application. Robin Williams was there.
The hearts of fans of the self-styled world boss broke shortly after 3 this afternoon when they heard their hero would continue to call the Tower Street Adult Correctional Center home. Cartel's attorney Isat Buchanan had launched a high-stakes bid to seek the release of the men, telling the court there was no lawful reason for the state to continue to detain them. But Justice Andrea Thomas disagreed. The judge took into consideration the Constitution and the Corrections Act in coming to her decision. She determined that the detention of Cartel, whose given name is Adidja Palmer, Sean Campbell, and Andre St. John, did not violate the Jamaican Constitution. The judge ruled the case was not a proper one for an application for habeas corpus. She told the court that there were lawful and justified reasons presented for the men to remain in custody. Justice Thomas held that while the convictions of the men had been set aside, no acquittal had occurred. She held that their murder charge remains. The judge found that as long as the murder charge remains, it cannot be said that the failure to release the men was an unlawful act. Justice Thomas ruled that the men can only be released on the order of the Court of Appeal. The Court of Appeal is to begin hearing arguments on June 10 to decide whether the men should again stand trial for Clive Williams' murder or be set free. That hearing will last for 5 days. It's not clear when the Court of Appeal will deliver its ruling. Robianne Williams for Nationwide News.
Meanwhile, Cartel's fans wept in the precincts of the Supreme Court as it became clear their favorite artists would not be released from prison. Amid a heavy security presence, the rowdy crowd started chanting for dancehall's star to be released. Fans of Cartel at the Supreme Court on Thursday.
And there was heightened police and military presence at the Supreme Court today as fans of Vybz Cartel converged in the vicinity. The area was cordoned off to vehicular and pedestrian traffic from as early as 9:30 in the morning. Deputy Superintendent in charge of the Supreme Court, Alfred MacDonald, told our news center that it was necessary to take precaution.
Social media was buzzing with excitement, and we knew that persons would want to converge upon this location, just to get a glimpse of their artists. Today is a regular court date, and we take the extra precaution to ensure that we create a safe environment for those who seek to transact business upon the courts today without impediment. So that was the main reason for all the extra security that you saw in place.
That is DSP Alfred MacDonald in charge of the Supreme Court.
In the United States, former President Donald J. Trump has been found guilty of falsifying business records by a Manhattan jury. The unanimous verdict was handed down Thursday afternoon. Trump was found guilty on all 34 felony counts. The 12 jurors deliberated for just over 11 hours before returning their decision. It's the first time in U.S. history that a former president is being found guilty of crimes. The court heard from 22 witnesses over 6 weeks, including the porn star Stormy Daniels. Daniels' alleged sexual encounter with Trump was at the center of the case. Prosecutors had claimed Trump falsified records to conceal payments made by his former lawyer Michael Cohen to buy the ex-adult film star's silence shortly before the 2016 presidential election. Trump had pleaded not guilty and claimed without evidence that the prosecution was politically motivated. Mr. Trump spoke to reporters shortly after learning he was now a convicted felon.
We didn't do a thing wrong. I'm a very innocent man, and it's okay. I'm fighting for our country. I'm fighting for our Constitution. Our whole country is being rigged right now. This was done by the Biden administration in order to wound or hurt an opponent, a political opponent. And I think it's just a disgrace. And we'll keep fighting. We'll fight till the end and we'll win because our country's gone to hell. We don't have the same country anymore. We have a divided mess. We're a nation in decline, serious decline. Millions and millions of people pouring into our country right now from prisons and from mental institutions, terrorists, and they're taking over our country. We have a country that's in big trouble. But this was a rigged decision right from day one with a conflicted judge who should have never been allowed to try this case, never. And we will fight for our Constitution. This is long from over. Thank you very much.
Donald Trump there, the convicted felon and a former U.S. president. He was speaking in Manhattan Thursday afternoon.
Back home now, Cabinet Minister Senator Matthew Samuda says he started the process to renounce his British citizenship. The senator made the declaration in a statement on Thursday. He's also calling on the president of the People's National Party and opposition leader Mark Golding to renounce his own British citizenship. Siobhan Campbell tells us more.
As discussions surrounding dual citizenship re-emerge in the public domain, one GLP senator has come forward, not only admitting to having British citizenship, but making public his intention to renounce it. Senator Matthew Samuda, a rising star in the JLP, says he is advanced in the process of renouncing his British citizenship, which he acquired at birth. The minister without portfolio in the Ministry of Economic Growth and Job Creation in the Office of the Prime Minister is also seeking to enter the House of Representatives. He is the current caretaker for North East St. Anne after replacing incumbent MP Marcia Smith. The question of dual citizenship re-emerged recently when it was revealed that opposition leader Mark Golding holds dual Jamaican and British citizenship. The governing JLP, led by Prime Minister Andrew Holness, has been strident that no person seeking to lead Jamaica should be a dual citizen. Senator Samuda says his move to renounce his British citizenship arose from recent conversations in the public domain. He says he's voluntarily decided to retain only Jamaican citizenship. Mr. Samuda is calling on the opposition leader to do the same. Mr. Golding has stated publicly that he would be willing to renounce his British citizenship. However, he qualified this statement, suggesting he would do so if the matter is debated and the people determine that holders of the office of Prime Minister and leader of the opposition should only have Jamaican citizenship. Mr. Golding is maintaining that until then, it is unreasonable to request that he relinquish his status, which was acquired by descent. Siobhan Campbell for Nationwide News.
The St. Mary Police says the mother of a 3-year-old boy who was chopped to death in Page District, St. Mary, has been released from hospital. The mother and 6 other persons were injured on Wednesday after a mentally ill man attacked them. Dana Davy reports.
According to the police, the mentally ill man was armed with an iron pipe and a knife. 3-year-old Asher Campbell was on his way home from school with his mother and 2 sisters when the man attacked. Head of the St. Mary Police, Superintendent Bobette Morgan Simpson, says 3 other men were also assaulted.
His father lives in the community, so the father, he was deported, came out, and we were with the father. So people were just walking about some business. Yesterday, the mother was with her 3 children, and the 2 little girls, the 9-year-old, 6-year-old, and the little boy, 3 years old. And he attacked them. And the little girl, the 9-year-old, she didn't get injured because she ran. He was not able to catch her. But the men, he just randomly picked on the men and just beat them and cut them up.
The children's mother, in a bid to defend her children, suffered chop wounds to different parts of her body. Superintendent Morgan Simpson says she has since been released from hospital, but her son did not survive the attack. Asher was pronounced dead upon arrival at the hospital. One of his sisters suffered a broken arm, while the other managed to escape injury. Superintendent Morgan Simpson says a walk-through is being done in the community with the Member of Parliament and other community leaders. She noted that Wednesday's incident was unlike anything she has seen in her 3 decades on the force.
It's hard to see a little 3-year-old go through something like that, and then him look sister, bar, she wants her brother, and he just can't help, and he just don't know what to do. You know, I've seen a lot in my 35 years, but I think that one year just kind of just smashed me up.
It's understood the accused is Devon Williams, a 32-year-old man recently deported from the U.S. Williams was deported in relation to several assaults in Springfield, Maryland in 2018. He was found not guilty by reason of mental illness and was committed to a mental hospital. Superintendent Morgan Simpson says the accused recently arrived in Pagee and was residing with his father. Dana Davy for Nationwide News.
Meanwhile, the Office of the Children's Advocate says 14 children have been killed in violent incidents since the start of the year. In a release on Thursday, the office says 9 children have died from shooting incidents, 3 from stabbings, and 2 under other circumstances. The office says the number of children killed is increasing behind the staggering figure of 30 children killed last year. Children's Advocate Diane Gordon Harrison says the number is more than a cause for concern. She says the month of May, which is celebrated annually as Child Month, has come to a painful close with the murder of 3-year-old Asher Campbell.
And of course, Asher was killed in Pagee, St. Mary. Yes, I think I said Page.
Yes.
Yeah, all right. You're listening to the news on Nationwide at 5. More after these.
Value Drug Pharmacy offers curbside pickup and delivery of your branded and generic drugs. WhatsApp your prescription to 876-881-6695. The time by Value Drug Pharmacy is...
It's 14 minutes after 5.
Rent-to-Kill Initial offers air purification solutions with triple filtration and unique auto-sensing capabilities that neutralizes malodor and replaces it with clean air. Call Rent-to-Kill Initial at 926-4236 for more details.
The temperature by Rent-to-Kill is
31 degrees Celsius in Kingston, 30 out west in Montego Bay.
Straight from the rock so it flows. Enjoy life letting go. Feel the breeze, mountain reach, water clean, nature green. Everything's good with Catherine speak. Rain or sun is shining, Mother Nature's blessings. Nature green, everything's good with Catherine speak.
Continuing the news. Statistics from the Ministry of Education reveal that enrollment in the 4 subjects no longer certified by the Caribbean Examinations Council CXC was massively short of the enrollment requirements. The data was revealed during a post-cabinet media briefing at the Office of the Prime Minister on Wednesday. Mahiri Stewart has that story.
The subjects to be discontinued relate to industrial technology at the Caribbean Secondary Education Certificate level, as well as green engineering, electrical and electronic engineering and technology, and agricultural science double award at the Caribbean Advanced Proficiency level. The enrollment requirement for CAPE subjects is 2,375 entries. For CSEC, it's 3,300. In Jamaica, agricultural science saw 205 entries across 10 schools, resulting in a shortfall of over 3,000 entries. Electrical and Electronic Engineering and Technology Unit 1 saw just 100 entries from 15 schools. This resulted in a shortfall of 2,275 entries. Green Engineering Unit 1 saw just 41 entries from 7 institutions, a shortfall of 2,334. Unit 2 for Green Engineering was even worse, with only 17 students entering from 3 schools, a shortfall of over 2,300. Unit 2 for Electrical and Electronic Engineering and Technology saw even less than Unit 1, with only 88 students from 13 schools. This left them 2,287 short of the requirement. Lastly, CSEC Industrial Technology saw 1,383 students from 90 different schools. This saw a shortfall of 1,917. A meeting slated for June 4 will see the regional education ministers meet with CXC to discuss the discontinuation of the certifications. Mahiri Stewart for Nationwide News.
The number of syphilis cases in Jamaica has been trending down. Jamaica is recording a reduction despite reports from the World Health Organization that new cases of syphilis among people aged 15 to 49 years increased by 30% between 2020 and 2022 in the Americas. Senior Medical Officer in the HIV/STI/TB unit of the Ministry of Health and Wellness, Dr. Nicola Skyers, says the average annual number of 1,100 cases fell to 865 last year.
That is definitely concerning, and we at the Ministry of Health and Wellness, we are monitoring the situation. We have not seen those increases in our numbers. In fact, we have seen a decrease between 2020 to 2023. We usually average around 1,100 cases each year. And at the end of 2023, we actually documented 865 cases. So what is being seen in the regional average is not being seen in our numbers locally.
Dr. Skyers is crediting public education and high testing coverage for the reduction in cases.
I think there are a couple of things that contribute to that. One, we continue our public education around syphilis. Two, we do a lot of syphilis testing. So syphilis testing is actually paired with HIV testing. And I don't know if you noted recently where Jamaica was actually validated for the elimination of vertical transmission of HIV and syphilis amongst our pregnant women. So testing is very high within our context.
Dr. Nicola Scars, Senior Medical Officer in the HIV/STI/TB unit of the Ministry of Health and Wellness. She was speaking on Nationwide this morning on Thursday.
World in a Minute is brought to you by ABC Electrical Sales. We make things as easy as ABC. Hose assembly and supply, equipping Jamaica for success.
And Charles O'Connor Consulting Network, COCN, driven by international accounting standards, modern technology, and integrity.
The World in a Minute.
The Prime Minister of Antigua and Barbuda, Gaston Brown, has signed a declaration of intent to join CAF, the Development Bank of Latin America and the Caribbean. This is seen as a strategic move towards accessing vital long-term financial resources and technical cooperation grants aimed at advancing sustainable development. Collaborative efforts with CAF will primarily target critical areas such as climate action, green growth, sustainable tourism, energy transition, and the blue economy. CAF was established in 1970 by 6 Andean countries: Bolivia, Chile, Colombia, Ecuador, Peru, and Venezuela. Since then, its shareholder base has expanded to include 21 countries and 13 private banks. Currently, Trinidad and Tobago, Jamaica, and Barbados represent the CARICOM member countries of CAF.
U.S. President Joe Biden has given Ukraine permission to use American-supplied weapons to strike targets in Russia, but only near the Kharkiv region. U.S. officials say his team had been directed to ensure Ukraine was able to use U.S. weapons for counter-fire purposes to hit back at Russian forces, hitting them or preparing to hit them. While Washington's policy of not allowing long-range strikes inside Russia has not changed, Moscow will likely view the latest measure as an escalation. Russian forces have made gains in the Kharkiv region in recent weeks after a surprise offensive in the area close to the border with Russia.
World in a Minute was brought to you by ABC Electrical Sales. We make things as easy as ABC. Hose assembly and supply, equipping Jamaica for success.
And Charles O'Connor Consulting Network, COCN, driven by international accounting standards, modern technology, and integrity.
Recapping the top stories making nationwide news at this hour, there were tears at the Supreme Court as it became clear that Vybz Cartel and his co-accused would remain in prison after the Supreme Court rejected an application for their release.
And for the first time in U.S. history, a former president, Donald Trump, has been found guilty of crimes in a court of law.
I'm a very innocent man. I'm fighting for our country. I'm fighting for our Constitution. Our whole country is being rigged right now. This was done by the Biden administration.
Cabinet Minister Matthew Samuda to renounce his British citizenship as public row intensifies.
The mother of a 3-year-old boy who was chopped to death in St. Mary has been released from hospital.
I'm Ricardo Brooks.
And I'm Roby Ann Williams.
Listeners, you can find the news on our website at nationwideradiojm.com and on the Nationwide app, available on the Google Play and the App Store. News next, the headlines at 6.
News at 5 was brought to you by KFC Hot Wings. Available in hot and spicy barbecue. KFC Hot Wings, a wing for the win. KFC is finger licking good.
Deposit we have insurance. It's an account that come with assurance. Let me teach you why it's important to have deposit insurance. Just in case your bank crash dead. No need to put your hands by your head. Up to 1.2 million you get for all accounts that's affected. Yeah, one room you can start it, or throw a house party. Pay your mortgage with ease. JDIC's a smart win. Deposit we bring safety. JDIC them protect me. Bank and billing society protected. The flow you must get with. Protect your savings smart. We urging you to call me. Guarantee you need us. We take banking serious.
JDIC, protecting deposits for you and me.
We are the best at what we do. At Hose Assembly and Supply Limited, we supply hose fittings and tools. We guarantee we can't be beaten when price and quality are combined. You brand us the Hose and Tool Boss because we deliver the most effective industrial solutions. Come in and experience the joy of shopping with Hose Assembly and Supply Limited. Call us 876-923-3936 or visit 173 Hagley Park Road, 2 Charlesworth Crescent or Montego Bay Trade Center. Hose Assembly and Supply Limited. More than just hoses. Now open every Sunday.
Hello, good afternoon, and welcome to sports here on Nationwide 90 FM. I'm Wayne Walker. National champion Rochelle Clayton continued her impressive 2024 season with the only Jamaican victory at the Oslo Diamond League meeting in Norway today. Clayton led home a Jamaican sweep, clocking 54.02 seconds, with Anjanette Knight second, 54.03, and Geneve Russell third, 55.07 seconds.
Jesse Knight has got a lot of work to do in lane two as these two Jamaicans pull away now, but still the lead to Rochelle Clayton in 5. Eases over that final barrier, trying to come back at her is Anjanette Knight now. She's getting close, and it's her last 50 or so to go here. Clayton digs deep, pulls away, wins by 3 meters. 54.01 for her from Rochelle Clayton. It's very close to her season's best of 53.7.
Natoya Gould-Toppin clocked a season's best 1 minute 59.10 to finish second in the women's 800 meters. The world champion Shericka Jackson finished a disappointing fifth in the women's 200 meters in 22.97 seconds. Brittany Brown of the USA won in 22.32. Marie-Josée Toulouse from the Côte d'Ivoire was second in 22.36.
As they come into the bend now, Daryl Neater with that 100-meter speed. Jackson struggling. Talu at 35 years old is running away with this. Coming back strongly is Brown as well. Brown, will she get it on the line? Brown from lane 8 came very strongly in the latter stages. Talu Smith with 15 meters to go, surely thought she'd got it won. But the congratulations look to be going to Brittany Brown. Yes, it is, and not for the first time this season. We have a winner in the women's 200 metres from the outside lane.
Rohan Watson, the national champion, was a sixth-place finisher in the men's 100 meters in 10.23 seconds. His countryman Johan Blake finished the seventh in 10.29. The event went to South Africa's Akani Simbini in a season's best 9.94. Rashid McDonald, the national record holder, finished eighth in the men's 400 meters in 47.60 seconds. Britain's Matthew Hudson-Smith won in an area record 44.07 seconds. Frederick Dakers did 65.06 meters for sixth in the men's shot put. Reigning world 100 meters champion Noah Lyles arrived in the island this afternoon ahead of his anticipated appearance at the 6th Racers Grand Prix at the National Stadium on Saturday. Lyles, who won triple gold at last year's World Championships in Budapest, will run in the men's 100 meters against the likes of Oblique Seville, Zarnell Hughes and Ferdinand Omanyala. Lyles thrilled fans at the National Stadium last year at the Racers meet with a stunning victory in the men's 200 meters. Other stars down to compete at this World Continental Tour Silver are Julian Alfred, Akira Nugent, Abby Steiner, Tajay Gale, Devine Charlton, the world 60 meters record holder, Megan Tapper, Alana Reid, Rashawn Clark, and the world 400 meters champion Antonio Watson. The meet is set to start at 7 p.m. and Nationwide 90 FM will have live coverage starting at 5 with Sports Nation live from the National Stadium. Former American sprint star Michael Johnson says athletes need to show more passion for track and field if the sport is to grow and attract new fans. Johnson is a 4-time Olympic gold medalist and an 8-time world champion. He believes the athletes are too passive when they are being interviewed.
I just want people to feel comfortable saying as athletes that, yeah, I want to win. And that's okay, and be unapologetic about the fact that they want to win, because if you don't say you want to win and you don't make that known and you don't feel passionate about that, how can you expect fans to feel passionate about it? So we just have to create an environment where the athletes feel like it's a safe environment to say, yeah, I want to win. I don't want to lose to any of these guys. I want to win. I want to be the one. And that's okay. You're not going to win every race. I mean, I did.
Michael Johnson. And in just under an hour's time, the West Indies and Australia will meet in an ICC T20 World Cup warm-up game at the Queen's Park Oval in Trinidad. The game, which is set to bowl off at 6 Jamaica time, is the only warm-up for the West Indies, who are coming off a thrilling 3-0 series win over South Africa in a T20 International Series here in Kingston. And the West Indies, they've moved up in the ICC men's ranking because of that victory over the South Africans. They're now fourth in the standings, India. The 2007 champions are leading the standings, with the 2021 winners, Australia, and defending champions England, second and third respectively. There were individual bright spots for West Indies in the series, who gained substantially in the T20 international player rankings. Jamaica's Brandon King, who led the team in the absence of Rovman Powell, scored a combined 159 runs, and he jumped 5 places to number 8 in the men's T20 ranking. His opening partner Johnson Charles, who hit a blistering 69 from 26 balls in the final game, is up 17 spots. He's now up to number 20. Kyle Mears 31 and Gudakesh Moti 27 are also up in the batting and bowling rankings respectively. And it's now time for the Nationwide Olympic Fact. It's sponsored by Fontana Pharmacy.
This is Nationwide's Olympic Facts, brought to you by Fontana Pharmacy. It's all good inside.
Did you know that Jamaica is the only country to have athletes finishing first, second, and second in a final at the Olympic Games? Yes, that's a fact. Jamaican athletes finished 1-2-2 in the women's 100 meters final at the 2008 Beijing Olympics. Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce took gold in 10.78 seconds, and Sharon Simpson and Karen Stewart both finished second with identical times of 10.98 seconds.
That was Nationwide's Olympic Facts, brought to you by Fontana Pharmacy. It's all good inside.
That's sports. We're going to be back with more at 6:05.
Hyundai, the home of modern, premium, affordable vehicles. Call us at 876-630-1511. The time by Hyundai is
5:31.
You know, so through the new social housing program, the government has already given houses to hundreds of poor Jamaicans and will give over 1,500 more houses to Jamaicans in need. We are building Jamaica.
The temperature by the office of the Prime Minister is
31 degrees Celsius here in the nation's capital, Kingston. It's 30 in the western city, Montego Bay.
Invest in Jamaica and make your money grow. Invest in Mayberry Jamaican Equities Bond, a safe and purposeful way to invest. How? We carefully invest your funds in top local companies, empowering you to profit from multiple businesses, not just one. With a minimum investment of just $20,000 and an interest rate of up to 10.5% per annum, it's more than just growth. It's profit with purpose. Discover more at www.profitwithpurposeja.com or contact your investment advisor for full details. Profit with purpose. Invest with Mayberry.
Drive Hyundai vehicles beyond your dreams with an exclusive 5.99% interest rate. Yes, shop Hyundai vehicles and get a super low 5.99% interest rate on your car loan. Plus 2 years free service, 1 year insurance, and 5 years warranty. Offer valid on all 2024 Hyundai vehicles. Drive your Hyundai with the lowest interest 5.99%. Conditions apply.
Join Jamaicans for Justice for their third and final town hall in their constitutional reform, Safeguarding Human Rights Town Hall series. Friday, May 31, 2024, from 5 p.m. to 8 p.m. at the Carl Hendrickson Auditorium at Jamaica College. Engage directly with top industry experts and advocates, Professor Trevor Monroe, King's Counsel Michael Hilton, Tamika Harris, and Clyde Williams. Come with your questions and concerns, then leave with answers. See you in Kingston. Contact 876-755-4524 for more details.
Tune in to this broadcast during Nationwide at 5, 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. on May 31, 2024. Catch Nationwide at 5 on the grounds of Jamaica College or tune in to Nationwide 90 FM, the new revolution in media. This broadcast is brought to you by Jamaicans for Justice. Justice for one, justice for all.
Hi there. Here's some good news for these trying times. Quote, "By God's word, I can see where I'm going. They throw a beam of light on my dark path." Unquote. Psalm 119, verse 105. Listen for God's word weekdays at 5:45 a.m. and 12:55 p.m. through
Oasis. Stop by for a refreshing drink and share a God perspective for the day.
Oasis, Weekdays 5:45 a.m. and 12:55 p.m. right here on Nationwide, a revolution in media.
The rebroadcast of The Oasis can be heard weekdays at 5:45 a.m.
The Oasis is brought to you by Solar Tech Jamaica. We use the gift of the sun to power our world.
Cover Story is brought to you by
Multilink. Roll with control. Use Multilink. Save fast and accepted in more locations.
We've been a part of everyday Jamaican life for over 25 years. From paydays to birthdays, unexpected emergencies to anniversary celebrations, the supermarket checkout line, or paying a bill or taxes on time. Our fast, secure debit network provides reliable service so you can always depend on Multilink. Jamaican and proud, fast, secure, everywhere.
Good afternoon to you. Thank you so much for joining us here on Nationwide at 5. It's time for the cover story. I'm Ricardo Brooks.
And I'm Siobhan Campbell.
Good afternoon to you listeners if you're joining us on radio. Good afternoon to you if you're joining us on the app. And hello to you if you're joining us on YouTube. This very busy Thursday afternoon. Major news happening in the United States, of course. Donald Trump found guilty, now a convicted felon, guilty of 34 counts of falsifying business records. Here in Jamaica, the Supreme Court has rejected a habeas corpus application filed on behalf of incarcerated dancehall star Vybz Cartel. And of course, Cabinet Minister in Andrew Holness's government, Matthew Samuda, revealing he's a British citizen, but he intends to renounce that. So, we're going to start at the Supreme Court. Yes, it has rejected an application from Vybz Cartel and two of his co-accused, Sean Campbell and Andre St. John, to be released from prison. The men's attorneys had filed an application for a writ of habeas corpus seeking their release. This after the UK-based Privy Council overturned their 2014 convictions for the murder of Clive Lizard Williams.
But in a ruling delivered to a packed courtroom on Thursday afternoon, Justice Andrea Thomas rejected the application. The judge took into consideration the Constitution and the Corrections Act. In coming to her decision, she determined that the detention of Cartel, whose given name is Adidja Palmer, Sean Campbell, and Andre St. John did not violate the Jamaican Constitution.
The judge ruled the case was not a proper one for an application for habeas corpus. She told the court that there was lawful and justified reason presented for the men to remain in custody. Now, Justice Thomas also held that while the convictions of the men had indeed been set aside by the Privy Council, no acquittal had occurred.
She held that their murder charges remain, and the judge found that as long as the murder charge remains, it cannot be said that the failure to release the men was an unlawful act. Justice Thomas ruled that the men can only be released on the order of the Court of Appeal.
Now, of course, listeners, as you recall, the Court of Appeal is to begin hearing arguments on June 10 to decide whether the men should again stand trial for Clive Williams' murder or be set free. Now, Cartel's fans wept in the precincts of the Supreme Court as it became clear that their dancehall star would not be released from prison. Amid a heavy security presence, the rowdy crowd started chanting for him to be released.
What about him? What were you expecting to happen today?
Now, if you were on YouTube, of course, you could see the videos there of the fans gathered in the precincts of the Supreme Court, some hugging and crying, and, of course, that now familiar chant, "Free World Boss." Now, Roby and Williams was at the Supreme Court for all of it. Good afternoon, Roby.
Good afternoon, Ricardo. Afternoon, Siobhan, to our listeners or viewers.
So, take us to, let's go inside the courtroom first. You were in courtroom 9 at the start.
First,
Yes.
initially we were in courtroom 9, but that courtroom, as it relates to space, limited space, I was standing. I took the decision to go there a little bit earlier than 2. I got there by 1:45 thereabout. When I went into the courtroom, there were no seats available for media, for lawyers. The courtroom was full to capacity.
Who? With who?
Uninterested parties, of course. You have,
Uninterested.
yeah, man. You know, you have interested
Yes.
parties in the matter, uninterested parties, lawyers who wanted to hear the ruling for themselves, court clerks, other people. The room was full.
Yes.
And then we moved. We got the permission to move to courtroom 1, which is a bigger space. And the matter started approximately 2:31. And the ruling came. The judge, Justice Andrea Thomas, she gave a detailed explanation as relates to her reasons. She looked at previous cases of similar nature in coming to her decision. She started by looking at the Privy Council's decision in March,
Yes.
as it relates to their convictions being overturned. And then she started giving her reasons. She says that the convictions being overturned, it doesn't translate into an order for the men to be released.
Yes.
Yes, the appeal, she said, will not be finished until the Court of Appeal or local Court of Appeal makes a decision into the matter.
And, of course, that's set for June 10.
Indeed, and she pointed out that until that decision, the men are charged and they shall remain in custody.
This was a high-stakes effort by Isaac Buchanan, a writ of habeas corpus. And I know my friends who are attorneys, they're a little bit tickled, a little bit upset with us here. So let me say it. It was an application for a writ of habeas corpus, yes? And Mr. Buchanan filed this application. What was his reaction when Justice Andrea Thomas told him, no, I will not entertain the arguments you've advanced?
I will reenact it for you.
Okay.
Thank you, madam. You have schooled me today. Can I now take my leave? And he left the courtroom just like that. The court was still in session because the judge was still seated, and he left the courtroom. We came out of the courtroom. We didn't see him. I think another media house caught him leaving the vicinity.
Normally with these writs, the defendant, in this case Mr. Palmer, would be present in the court, but I understand he was not. Was a reason explained?
The DSP in charge of the Supreme Court, he did say that it was not required for him to be there. So he wasn't there, but his fans thought he was there, so they converged at the gate, and when they saw the truck, you know, the truck that is used to transport the defendants, when they saw the truck, that's when they started chanting "Free World Boss," and they were waving to the truck as though he was there, but he was not. He was not in court, neither his 2 co-accused.
And let me just go back to that exchange between Isaac Buchanan and the judge. You're saying the judge was still seated on the bench when he requested leave to leave the courtroom, because usually, listeners, in these matters, the judge delivers the ruling, the parties stand, the judge exits the courtroom, and that's when everybody else leaves. You're saying he left before she exited the bench?
He did so, indeed. It was a little bit strange. Because, as you said, normally we would be seated, and when the judge is leaving, then everyone would leave the courtroom. Not saying that I know, because there are times when you have other matters as attorney that you have to attend to.
Did he indicate that he had something
else? He did not. His response was brief. He said thank you as it relates to not attaching any cost to the application, because there were no cost attached. And then he said, thank you for schooling me, madam, today. And he asked to take his leave.
And she granted that leave?
She granted the leave, and he left the courtroom before we all went out.
Could you read his facial expression while he was leaving?
His facial expression, we could not see it, because we were seated behind him, and we weren't able to see his facial expression. But his response was very brief, and he fled the courtroom.
Well, we're getting the signal to wrap up, but before we go, Roby, just to say what is next on this cartel matter, because this is not the end of it.
June 10, the Court of Appeal will hear submissions as it relates to the matter for retrial or against retrial. The Court of Appeal will take submissions from both attorneys representing the defendants. We can call them defendants now, or appellants rather. Mm-hmm. Yes, appellants. And she will also hear from the Attorney General as it relates to, and the DPP, the interested parties as it relates to a retrial. So we await June 10. The submissions will be made, and I believe it's 5 days. Over 5 days of submissions, and there's no telling when the Court of Appeal will make its decision.
Yeah. So the news out of the Supreme Court, that application, a writ of habeas corpus, has been rejected by the Supreme Court. And just a little bit of the Latin, Siobhan. Siobhan asked a valid question. Was Mr. Palmer present in court? He asked that question, listeners, because habeas corpus, loosely translated, means that you have the body, present the body. And it's a report which can be made in a court in the event of unlawful detention or imprisonment, requesting that the court order the person's custodian, usually a prison official, to bring the prisoner to court to determine whether the detention is indeed lawful. Thank you, Roby.
Most welcome.
All right, we take the break. After the break, does the fact that Matthew Samuda
hold dual citizenship,
right, does that indicate that this political row, is now dead?
Clearing personal, non-commercial shipments at the port? Avoid the wait. Request a contactless clearance through your agent today. It's more efficient. It's secure. The time by the Jamaica Customs Agency is
5:47.
Fast, friendly service? Check. Delicious chicken? Check. Get Quick Chick. Drive-through available at 29 Grand Spen Road. Great taste without the wait. The temperature by Quick Chick is
30 degrees Celsius here in the capital city, Kingston, as well as 30 degrees out west in Montego Bay.
Do you owe the NWC? Don't worry. The NWC's Pay and Save program can help you. Yes, you can get a 10 to 20% discount off when you pay balances that are 90 days or older. And if you can't pay everything in full, you can enter into a payment arrangement. Take advantage of this great opportunity by visiting any NWC commercial office island-wide. For more information about the NWC's Pay and Save program, visit nwcjamaica.com or call 888-NWC. Conditions apply.
If you're a teacher from Manila, nurse worker, college professor, a businessman from St. Ann, NCB is the bank for everyone. Enough respect, big up every Jamaican. NCB, a build a better nation. We're your bank for wealth creation. NCB are the people's bank. Time now for we own a bank. NCB are the people's bank.
NCB is the people's bank. Therefore, the people should own the bank. There's a saying, if you buy the milk, you should own the cow.
Me just love me Jamaican bank. NCB are the people's bank.
Investing involves risks. Please review the NCB FG prospectus and seek financial advice before making any investment decision. Visit goipo.jncb.com for application details.
Drive Hyundai vehicles beyond your dreams with an exclusive 5.99% interest rate. Yes, shop Hyundai vehicles and get a super low 5.99% interest rate on your car loan. Plus 2 years free service, 1 year insurance, and 5 years warranty. Offer valid on all 2024 Hyundai vehicles. Drive your Hyundai with the lowest interest, 5.99%. Conditions apply.
Welcome back, listeners. It's 5:49, and now we switch over to this matter of dual citizenship, where Senator Matthew Samuda, Cabinet Minister and Senator Matthew Samuda, has started the process to renounce his British citizenship. The Senator made the declaration in a statement on Thursday. He's also calling on the President of the People's National Party and Opposition Leader Mark Golding to do the same and renounce his own British citizenship.
Senator Samuda says his move to renounce his British citizenship arose from recent conversations in the public domain. He says he's voluntarily made the decision to give up his citizenship, Mr. Smoother is calling on the opposition leader to do the same. For some reactions, we'll be joined now by Sandre Roden. Good afternoon, Sandre.
Good afternoon, Ricardo.
You sound a little bit far. Can you hear me, Sandre?
Yeah, I'm hearing you. Good afternoon.
All right. You sound a little bit distant. All right, so we're going to check the line, and sort that out. Social commentator and economist Sandra Roden. And the question now obviously arises, Siobhan. What's good for the goose is good for the gander. And if the GLP has made heavy weather of the fact that the opposition leader, is somehow unworthy, right, to hold leadership, to occupy positions of leadership, the logical question is, does that argument still hold currency? It is still a potent argument now that we have this information that a cabinet minister is also a British citizen.
But I think it still comes down to those who are on the fence on the matter as to whether it is a moral concern or a ethical and legal concern.
Right.
And I don't know if it dies or more it takes on a new color to it to see how many members of either house or how many people aspiring to either the Senate or the House of Representatives do hold these dual citizenships, and will they be willing to come forward and state as such and renounce it? So I don't think it kills the debate. I think it now takes on new
urgency.
Not necessarily new urgency, but a new scope to see, will this now compel the Jamaican people, as we are currently going through the constitutional reform process, to give this a proper look in terms of the matter of the Commonwealth citizens, the dual citizen, should they be allowed to sit in Parliament?
And of course, that legal question raised by Abe Dabdoo would apply as well to Matthew Samuda, whether he's under allegiance. He's taken the decision, he's going to renounce it. He wants his only loyalty to be to Jamaica. What will Mr. Golding do? Sandre Roden?
Yes, I'm here with you now.
Yes, man, much better. How do you see this matter now that we're learning that Senator Matthew Samuda is going to renounce his dual citizenship? Does this put more pressure on opposition leader Mark Golding to do the same?
Well, it definitely does, in the public conversation, put more pressure on the leader of the opposition. I don't know if it was the best move, because I think it's the flip side of a coin, because there can be implications or the perception on both sides. One perception could be, we pointed at one particular person and now there's somebody else. But the only difference is the leader of opposition is the leader of the opposition, and in the next elections he would design for prime minister, while Senator Matthew Samuda would be a senator and Mark Golding was a senator. So, there are parallels to be drawn.
But so it sounds like to your mind there's a distinction because Mr. Golding is seeking the highest office, the highest political office.
I think that distinction comes up because we're now in a state where the conversation was put out there by the leader of the opposition, because he said we don't want to have 1 foot in and 1 foot out. And I think that's where this whole citizenship conversation started.
Right.
And it's a part of the constitutional reform. We've been talking about it. Both sides are open to having dual citizens in Parliament. But of course, we go back to the 2007 court cases, etc., looking at those who had U.S. citizenship and not necessarily Commonwealth citizenship. So now it becomes muddy because of that.
Do you think this matter then must now go to the court for an ultimate settlement as to the nature of this matter of renouncing citizenship by, or I should say, essentially pledging allegiance through this matter of renewing a passport? Do you think now the court needs to be the arbiter and come with a final decision?
I honestly don't think so, because the Commonwealth being what the legal representation in the Constitution about citizenship was based on when our Constitution was written and how it came into force. Now, it's legal. There's nothing wrong with it, but it's just based on how our Constitution came into force. If it is a case of a decision can be made without the court, it is, to my knowledge, it is the decision of not just the parliamentarians, but the constitution going forward to decide if it's a case that we want this. And since as everything is going to a referendum, I think the people should also have a say on it.
And further to that, there was a comment by Mr. Golding that he would await for a debate and the people's thoughts as to whether he should retain that citizenship, and if it is required that he has to renounce it at the end of that debate from the people of Jamaica, he will do so. Whereas Senator Samuda has simply looked at what's been said in the public domain and of his own recognizance decided that, no, I'm just going to give it up, I'm going to renounce it. Do you think Mr. Golding should stand on that same principle and hold onto the citizenship and give the people an avenue to decide that, or do you think he should just preemptively rid himself of it?
Why wait for debate is the question we really should ask, because the opportunity is there to make that decision now. I think people will take the leader of the opposition seriously if it's the case that he renounces his citizenship. That is just a fact, because of how muddy and political his own citizenship has become. He now has the right and remit to make a decision that he thinks is in his best interest. But the thing about it is that political leaders, their personal lives normally become a part of the political conversation, especially when they're in the highest offices. He's in one of the highest offices in the country. And based on that, he now has to show if he decides to wait on that public debate, that's his decision. But I think people who are questioning what's happening, like even my own family members who ask me, what's really happening, because it looks really muddy in the media, he can make that decision. And then I think people would see that he actually has that commitment to Jamaica. And that's what the conversation isn't about the legality. It's about commitment. It's about an ethical conversation. That's what people really are talking about. Like, if you want to be the leader, why would you not solely, have allegiance to us? That's what I'm hearing.
Right. And I hear the distinction you're making, and I understand the distinction. Those seeking the highest office, their call is great, and I get that. But in terms of how potent the political message from the JLP is, yes, Matthew Samuda is renouncing, but do you feel that message has been blunted, that they can still credibly go after Mr. Golding on this matter of citizenship, now that we know that there is at least one person in the JLP who has held dual Jamaican British citizenship?
Well, I think they still can, because the conversation is deeply political on the premise that it is now a JLP versus PNP issue. So, seeing that Senator Matthew Samuda would have publicly come out and say, listen, I'm renouncing mine just based on conversation, you also have to remember that he plans to vie for a seat, as in the lower house. And I'm guessing based on that, he now has a decision to make, because yes, he could have entered with his British citizenship and gone in and become MP if he were to win for North Eastern Town. But if he renounces his citizenship and enters Parliament, then I think people will take him more seriously, not just as a member of Parliament, but he serves in the executive as a minister. And that is a good statement to the people, since as we're having that dual citizenship conversation now. The conversation wasn't up before as it relates to Commonwealth citizens, but it came up based on our constitutional reform. And that is where it becomes a matter for people to question, because a lot of people were not really educated that this is already a part of our constitution.
30 seconds. Does the matter of descent matter? Does it matter whether the person was born with the dual citizenship or had taken up the dual citizenship at a later date? Is that pertinent to the conversation?
Yeah, it is, but legally it doesn't matter. But from the ethical and the citizen allegiance concept that people may have, it may matter to them, because somebody will say, why did you take it up later? Why did you go overseas and decide that you wanted to? Now, some people may not care, but some people may care. So if it is that if you want to serve all citizens, then the views, the converging views must be considered. And of course, based on the fact that, you're leading the country, the conversation will always be there. Now, if they are born with it or born into the citizenship, there's nothing they can do about that until they come to an age where they say, listen, I want to renounce this. And that is their decision to make.
All right, Sandra Roden, economist, social commentator. Thank you so much for your time.
No problem. Thank you, Ricardo. Thank you to your listeners.
And just before we go, we have a media release from the Office of the Director of Public Prosecutions. Let me just read it quickly for you, listeners. The DPP's office says an application for writ of habeas corpus was filed on May 17 on behalf of the applicants, Adija Palmer, Sean Campbell, and Andre St. John, and was heard in the Home Circuit Court today. The court ruled that the application, or rather the matter was heard yesterday. No, Thursday, May 29. I think there's an error. That should be Wednesday, May 29. The court ruled today that this application requesting the applicant's release is denied and that the superintendent of the Tower Street Adult Correctional Center is acting lawfully in keeping the applicants in custody. The DPP says the court noted there is no order from any court indicating that the applicants are to be released, as the order from the Judicial Committee of the Privy Council quashing the convictions was not an order for release. The applicants are not eligible for bail pending appeal due to the offence for which they are before the court pursuant to the Bail Act. Due to the pending matter before the Court of Appeal on the issue of retrial of the substantive case, this is the extent of our updates at this time. Right? So the Office of the DPP saying that, telling you, as we have, that the writ of habeas corpus was rejected, and importantly, that the applicants are not eligible for bail pending appeal due to the offence for which they are before the court pursuant to the Bail Act. Yeah? The headlines are next.
Cover Story was brought to you by
Multilink. Roll with control. Use Multilink. Safe, fast, and accepted in more locations.
Say hello to peace of mind and goodbye to worry with Guardian Life's new Ultimate Provider Plan, and secure your medical expenses in the event of critical illness today. Call 888-367-5433 for details.
The time by Guardian Life is
2 minutes after 6.
Nationwide headlines at 6.
Good evening with the headlines at 6. I'm Mahiri Stewart. The Supreme Court has rejected an application from Vybz Cartel and two of his co-accused, Sean Campbell and Andre St. John, to be released from prison. The men's attorneys had filed an application for a writ of habeas corpus seeking their release. This after the UK-based Privy Council overturned their 2014 convictions for the murder of Clive Lizard Williams. But in a ruling delivered to a packed courtroom Thursday afternoon, Justice Andrea Thomas rejected the application. Robian Williams reports.
The hearts of fans of the self-styled world boss broke shortly after 3 this afternoon when they heard their hero would continue to call the Tower Street Adult Correctional Center home. Cartel's attorney Isat Buchanan had launched a high-stakes bid to seek the release of the men, telling the court there was no lawful reason for the state to continue to detain them. But Justice Andrea Thomas disagreed. The judge took into consideration the Constitution and the Corrections Act in coming to her decision. She determined that the detention of Cartel, whose given name is Adija Palmer, Sean Campbell, and Andre St. John, did not violate the Jamaican Constitution. The judge ruled the case was not a proper one for an application for habeas corpus. She told the court that there were lawful and justified reasons presented for the men to remain in custody. Justice Thomas held that while the convictions of the men had been set aside, no acquittal had occurred. She held that their murder charge remains. The judge found that as long as the murder charge remains, it cannot be said that the failure to release the men was an unlawful act. Justice Thomas ruled that the men can only be released on the order of the Court of Appeal. The Court of Appeal is to begin hearing arguments on June 10 to decide whether the men should again stand trial for Clive Williams' murder or be set free. That hearing will last for 5 days. It's not clear when the Court of Appeal will deliver its ruling. Robianne Williams for Nationwide News.
Former President of the United States, Donald Trump, has been found guilty of falsifying business records by a Manhattan jury. The unanimous verdict was handed down Thursday afternoon. Trump was found guilty on all 34 felony counts. The 12 jurors deliberated for just over 11 hours before returning their decision. It's the first time in U.S. history that a former president is being found guilty of crimes. Cabinet Minister Senator Matthew Samuda says he's started the process to renounce his British citizenship. The senator made the declaration in a statement on Thursday. Senator Matthew Samuda, a rising star in the JLP, says he has advanced the process of renouncing his British citizenship, which he acquired at birth. The minister without portfolio in the Ministry of Economic Growth and Job Creation in the Office of the Prime Minister is also seeking to enter the House of Representatives. He's the current caretaker for North East St. Anne after replacing incumbent MP Marcia Smith. The question of dual citizenship re-emerged recently when it was revealed that opposition leader Mark Golding holds dual Jamaican and British citizenship. He's also calling on the president of the People's National Party and the opposition leader to renounce his own British citizenship. The St. Mary Police says the mother of a 3-year-old boy who was chopped to death in Pajee District, St. Mary, has been released from hospital. The mother and 6 other persons were injured on Wednesday after a mentally ill man attacked them. 3-year-old Asha Campbell was on his way home from school with his mother and 2 sisters when the man attacked. Head of the St. Mary Police, Superintendent Bobette Morgan Simpson, says 3 other men were also assaulted.
His father lived in the community, so the father, he was deported, came out and we were with the father. So people were just walking about some business. Yesterday the mother was with her 3 children. And they listened to the 2 little girls, the 9-year-old, 6-year-old, and the little boy, 3 years old. And he attacked them. And the little girl, the 9-year-old, she didn't get injured because she ran. He was not able to catch her. But the men, he just randomly picked on the men and just beat them and cut them up.
Superintendent Bobette Morgan Simpson, head of the St. Mary Police. The children's mother, in a bid to defend her children, suffered chop wounds to different parts of her body. Superintendent Morgan Simpson says she has since been released from hospital, but her son did not survive the attack. Asha was pronounced dead upon arrival at the hospital. One of his sisters suffered a broken arm, while the other managed to escape injury. Superintendent Morgan Simpson says a walkthrough is being done in the community with the Member of Parliament and other community leaders. Minister of Education and Youth Favour Williams says a meeting has been set between the ministry and teachers at Vere Technical High School. The meeting follows an incident at the Clarendon-based school in which a female teacher was attacked by relatives of a student. The incident took place on Wednesday. It's reported that the altercation stemmed from the confiscation of the student's bag by the teacher. The police have also reportedly charged the teacher who was attacked. Minister Williams says a meeting is being scheduled with the teachers, the ministry, and the Jamaica Teachers Association. She says the ministry remains fully committed to supporting the affected teacher and improving school security. Minister Williams says for months initiatives have been implemented to help curb school violence. However, she says it's disheartening to see a parent involved in an act of violence. Those are the headlines at 6. I'm Mahiri Stewart. Sports is next.
Cool loans, I'll lend you 500 grand. Fi buy appliances and electrons. All flexible, payment plan. Yeah man, a hot cash. Hot. I hope to 500 grand. Yeah, man, I had cash. $500,000 that make you rich fast. 100 grand for buy steel and black. 200 for furniture, laptop. 200 for keep birthday bash. Yeah, money loan hot. Get a cool loan to purchase all your electronics, furnitures, and appliances at coolmarket.com.
Experience the ultimate adventure at Yaman Adventure Park. For $9,900 per person, experience ATV adventures, Bert Avery's, Blue Hole Adventures, and a free lunch. For moms and teachers, their exclusive rollout package at $8,900 offers a delicious lunch, Bert Avery's, ATV adventures, and memorable photo opportunities. Book now at 876-618-0900 and use the code Nationwide Yaman to redeem specials and experience the Yaman Adventure. This offer lasts only for the month of May.
Good evening with your sports report. I am Alric Swaby. We start with track and field. National champion Rochelle Clayton continued her impressive 2024 season with the only Jamaican victory at the Oslo Diamond League meeting in Norway today. Clayton led home a Jamaican sweep, clocking 54.02 seconds, with Anjanette Knight second in 54.03 and Genevieve Russell third in 55.07 seconds.
Jesse Knight has got a lot of work to do in lane two as these two Jamaicans pull away now, but still the lead to Rochelle Clayton in 5. Eases over that final barrier, trying to come back at Anjanette Knight now. She's getting close, and it's a last 50 or so to go here. Clayton digs deep, pulls away, wins by 3 meters. 54.01 for her from Rochelle Clayton. It's very close to her season's best of 53.7.
Natalia Gould topping clocked a season's best 1 minute 59.10 seconds to finish second in the women's 800 meters. World champion Serica Jackson finished a disappointing fifth in the women's 200 meters in 22.97 seconds. Brittany Brown of USA won in 22.32 seconds, with Marie-Josée Talou Smith of the Ivory Coast second in 22.36 seconds.
As they come into the bend now, Daryl Neater with that 100-meter speed. Jackson struggling. Talu at 35 years old is running away with this. Coming back strongly is Brown as well. Brown, will she get it on the line? Brown from lane 8 came very strongly in the latter stages. Talu Smith with 15 metres to go, surely thought she'd got it won. But the congratulations look to be going to Brittany Brown. Yes, it is, and not for the first time this season. We have a winner in the women's 200 metres from the outside lane.
Now, Rowan Watson was a 6th place finisher in the men's 100 metres in 10.23 seconds, with countryman Johan Blake finishing 7th in 10.29 seconds. The event went to South Africa's Akini Simbine in a season's best 9.94 seconds. Rasheen McDonald finished 8th in the men's 400 metres in 47.60 seconds, as Britain's Matthew Hudson-Smith won in an era record 54.07 seconds. Frederick Dakers did 65.06 metres for 6th in the men's shot put. Reigning World 100 metres champion Noah Lyles arrived in the island this afternoon ahead of his anticipated appearance at the 6th Racers Grand Prix at the National Stadium on Saturday. Lyles, who won triple gold at last year's World Championships in Budapest, will run in the men's 100 metres against the likes of Oblique Seville, Zarnell Hughes and Ferdinand Omanyala. Lyles thrilled fans at the stadium last year with a stunning victory in the men's 200 metres. Other stars down to compete at this World Continental Tour Silver are Julian Alfred, Akira Nugent, Abby Steiner, Tajay Gale, Divine Charlton, Megan Tapper, Alan Reed, Rashawn Clark, and World 400 metres champion Antonio Watson. The meet is set to start at 7 p.m. and Nationwide 90 FM will have live coverage starting at 5 with Sports Nation Live. Former American sprinter Michael Johnson says athletes need to show more passion for track and field if the sport is to grow and attract new fans. Johnson is a 4-time Olympic gold medalist and an 8-time world champion. He believes the athletes are too passive when they're being interviewed.
I just want people to feel comfortable saying as athletes that, yeah, I want to win.
And that's okay. And be unapologetic about the fact that they want to win, because if you don't say you want to win and you don't make that known and you don't feel passionate about that, how can you expect fans to feel passionate about it? So we just have to create an environment where the athletes feel like it's a safe environment to say, yeah, I want to win. I don't want to lose to any of these guys. I want to win. I want to be the one. And that's okay. You're not going to win every race. Right. I mean, I did.
Michael Johnson. On to cricket, as the West Indies are up to fourth in the latest ICC T20 standings following their impressive 3-0 series win over South Africa recently. The list is being led by 2007 champions India, with 2021 winners Australia and defending champions England in second and third places respectively. There were individual bright spots for West Indies in the series, who gained substantially in the T20 international player rankings. Jamaica's Brandon King, who led the team in the absence of Ravman Powell, scored a combined 159 runs to jump 5 places to 8th in the men's batting ranking. His opening partner, Johnson Charles, who hit a blistering 69 from 26 balls in a player of the match performance in the third game of the series, gained 17 spots to reach the 20th place. Kyle Myers, 31st place in batting rankings, and Gudakes Moti, 27th place in bowling rankings, were the other beneficiaries from the recently concluded series. The result boded well for the men in maroon, who will look for a record third title during their home T20 World Cup. They start their campaign against Papua New Guinea in Guyana on June 2. Now on to footballers. Coach of Jamaica's senior women's football team, Hubert Busby, says the players are in high spirits ahead of the 2 international friendlies against Brazil. The first match is set for Reese's on June 1, while the second will be played at Salvador on June 4. The Jamaicans had their second training session this morning, and for the first time, the technical staff had the entire 23-member squad to work with. Busby says the players are eager to wear the national colours.
Core of this particular group of players has been away for a long time, so the excitement level is good to come in and see their fellow sisters. It's good for them to pull on the jersey and take that pride in playing for their national team, and that showed today. And I'm really proud of that, the way that they came out and showed that attitude. But really, for us now, it's for them to kind of focus in on what needs to happen is the base on some of those conversations, the 1v1s. Their expectations, our expectations of them, kind of their roles, responsibilities within our system, and then for us to go out and continue to implement that in the daily training session.
Hubert Busby. Now on to tennis, as defending champion Novak Djokovic moved efficiently through the gears once again to beat Spain's Roberto Caballero and reach the French Open third round. Serbia's Djokovic cruised to a 6-4, 6-1, 6-2 victory on another rain-soaked day in Paris. It ensured he has reached the third round at the clay court Grand Slam for the 19th consecutive year. Meanwhile, Alexander Zverev booked his place in the third round with a routine straight-set victory over Belgium's David Goffin. The German 6th seed continued to underline his title credentials with a 7-6, 6-2, 6-2 win. On the women's side, Ariana Sabalenka underlined her French Open title credentials by completing another commanding straight-set win to reach the third round at Roland Garros. The world number 2 took just 62 minutes to dismiss the Japanese 6-2, 6-2. Meanwhile, the French Open has stopped fans drinking alcohol in the stands in a bid to end unruly behavior, says tournament director Amélie Marismont. It comes after Belgium's David Goffin had chewing gum spat at him during a match against Francis Giovanni. On Wednesday, women's defending champion Iga Swiatek pleaded with fans to keep quiet during points and not to shout out. Now to rugby, as Dwayne Park Red Sharks retain the Rugby League Jamaica Women's National Club Championships with a comfortable 24-6 win over Washington Boulevard Bulls at Mona Bowl. In total, 4 teams participated in the 13-a-side competition, the other 2 being St. Bess Sledgehammers and the Jamaica Defence Force. All teams faced each other in a round-robin action, and then the top 2 clashed in the championship game. Shireen Johnson was the standout player in the finals, bagging 12 points courtesy of 3 tries for the winners. Her teammate, Shanique Smith, was also exceptional with her 4 goals and a try, also equaling 12 points. And finally, Olympic Facts, sponsored by Rainforest.
This is Nationwide's Olympic Facts, brought to you by Rainforest Caribbean. Make delicious moments.
Did you know that motorboat sailing, hot air ballooning, and tug-of-war all used to be Olympic sports? Yes, that's a fact. Over time, different sports and events are voted into or out of the Olympic Games. Some disappear, then return, while others go to fashion forever.
That was Nationwide's Olympic Facts, brought to you by Rainforest Caribbean. Make delicious moments.
Okay, so that was our Olympic Fact, brought to you by Rainforest Caribbean. And remember, Nationwide 90 FM will have live and exclusive radio coverage of the Paris Olympics. I'm Alex Raby, and that's your sports.
For all your scales and food processing equipment, call Advanced Scales and Equipment Limited at 876-968-9612-5. The time by Advanced Scales and Equipment Limited is
6:20.
Upgrade your kitchen and bathroom to the next level with Unique Living. They're the ultimate destination for all your kitchen and bathroom needs, from luxurious shower systems to exquisite faucets, vanities, sinks, toilets, closets, and more. They have it all. Visit shop number 6, 30 Dunrobin Avenue, Kingston 10, or call them at 876-755-3661. Elevate your space with Unique Living, where quality meets expectations.
If you're a teacher from Maneuver, nurse worker, college professor, a businessman from St. Ann, NCB is the bank for everyone. Enough respect, big up every Jamaican. NCB, a build a better nation. We're your bank for wealth creation. NCB are the people's bank. Time now for we own a bank. NCB are the people's bank.
NCB is the people's bank. Therefore, the people should own the bank. There's a saying, if you buy the milk, you should own the cow.
Me just love me Jamaican bank. NCB are the people's bank.
Investing involves risks. Please review the NCB FG prospectus and seek financial advice before making any investment decision. Visit goipo.jncb.com for application details.
My Mega With so much to do in one location, make Megamart your one-stop shop. Pick up your groceries and houseware needs, grab a bite and pay some bills, fill your prescriptions and see the beauty products in our pharmacy. All in one amazing location. My Megamart, the best value by far.
Join Jamaicans for Justice for their third and final town hall in their constitutional reform, Safeguarding Human Rights Town Hall series. Friday, May 31, 2024, from 5 p.m. to 8 p.m. at the Carl Hendrickson Auditorium at Jamaica College. Engage directly with top industry experts and advocates. Professor Trevor Monroe, King's Counsel Michael Hilton, Tamika Harris, and Clyde Williams. Come with your questions and concerns, then leave with answers. See you in Kingston. Contact 876-755-4524 for more details.
Tune in to this broadcast during Nationwide at 5, 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. on May 31, 2024. Catch Nationwide at 5 on the grounds of Jamaica College or tune in to Nationwide at 90 FM, the new revolution in media. This broadcast is brought to you by Jamaicans for Justice. Justice for one, justice for all.
Public Opinion is brought to you by Cleasing Industrial Supplies Limited, Industrial Automation and Control Solutions.
Good evening, one and all. Welcome to Public Opinion. I'm Robeanne Williams. A special good evening to our friends on YouTube. You keep the chat going. We invite you to weigh in live in the comment section on today's Public Opinion. And it has been a day. Boy, it has been a day. But let's get to it. The Supreme Court has rejected an application from Vybz Cartel and two of his co-accused, Sean Campbell and Andre St. John, to be released from prison. The men's attorneys had filed an application for a writ of habeas corpus seeking their release. Now, this after the UK-based Privy Council overturned their 2014 convictions for the murder of Clive Lizard Williams. But in a ruling delivered to a packed courtroom, yes indeed, it was packed, Thursday afternoon, Justice Andrea Thomas rejected the application. The hearts of fans of the self-styled world boss broke shortly after 3 when they heard their the judge's decision and that their hero would continue to call the Tower Street Adult Correctional Center home. Chants there coming from fans of Vybz Cartel. Now, the Court of Appeal is to begin hearing arguments on June 10 to decide whether the men should again stand trial for Clive Williams' murder or be set free. That hearing is expected to last for 5 days, and it's not clear when a ruling will come from the Court of Appeal. So in public opinion today, we're asking, what is your reaction to the Supreme Court denying an application to release Vybz Cartel and two of his co-accused from prison?
For me, it's neither here nor there. I am aware of the case, of course, but it doesn't matter to me one way or the other. I don't give it any thoughts unless I hear about it on the radio. So it doesn't matter to me.
The Privy Council didn't say it was supposed to be free. The Privy Council said it's supposed to have a retrial. So I don't know what his lies was trying to force, you know. His lie was really trying to force water up a hill because the Privy Council didn't say that. Say it was supposed to be free. So I don't know what his lie was trying.
If him do the crime, him have to do the time. Simple. No way around it. Because if them free him, them have to free everybody else. That may I tell you.
Not supposed to release them.
You do the crime, you do the time. Don't pass around shoes and lend out shoes if you can't wear it. Shoes are bun you keep your hand. It's neither here nor there for me. Because I don't like me listen themselves to that. It don't really matter. When I lose no sleep, me not lose no sleep. But anyway, so it go.
All right, the views of the people there, and they've been coming from morning till now. Some people couldn't wait for today. But you heard the ruling from the Supreme Court Judge Justice Andrea Thomas. She rejected the application for the men to be released. Now to the comments on our social media platform. If you're just joining us, your reaction to the Supreme Court denying the application to release Vybz Cartel and two of his co-accused from prison. Now let's get to the comments. Starting on Facebook real quick, Daniel says... Oh, no, I'm not going to read that one. Anthony Sheikh says, as long as his detention does not breach any law, I don't see a problem. George Alwood says, justice served. The Supreme Court didn't say not guilty. Okay. Daniel Dwight says, he will have to wait. So he will have his say on June 10. I'm with the High Court, not unconstitutional. Rosalind Buck says, karma, with 3 exclamation marks. So Wesley saying, I'll give my opinion on June 10 until then. And you see, most people tend to have it wrong because some of us believe that June 10 you'll hear the decision when that's not the case. June 10 is when the Court of Appeal will start hearing submissions from attorneys representing the men and the respondents in the matter, you know. So June 10 is not the decision. You'll have to wait wait until there is a decision. Mel Boo believes that it is sabotage. Winston is saying the Supreme Court made the right decision. All right, and he's saying kudos to the Supreme Court. On our X platform, Tevin Johnson says, I support the court. We must not forget that a man is dead. Straight retrial I want. Desmond Campbell says, I think on the judge's grounds that they still stand charged for murder, it's fair. I note that the defense said they have undisclosed reasons they wanted them bailed. With no knowledge of those reasons, the standing charge argument prevails. Daniel Armstrong says, anyway, my reaction is that he will have his say on June 10th. Donna Mealy says, not surprised, it was expected. Elon Musk admirer says it's the right judgment. All right, let's see. Chen Chen is saying, not acquitted, stay in prison, law is equal for everyone. Right, going on to our Instagram platform where Jack Dennis Production says it has now become a personal matter between Vybz Cartel, his co-accused, and the system. Dino says not because the conviction was squashed doesn't mean that the charges or allegations were dropped. The same reason he was denied bail before the first trial is the same reason to deny bail today. And I must point out the judge in her ruling, in her decision, she did say that the men were not on bail before they were convicted. So it stands for them to remain until the Court of Appeal decision is made. Let me see if I can get... Farm says, I'm no longer interested in this case because it's clear that the corrupt is going to order a retrial and then the Supreme Court going to convict him again. All right. Leighton is saying, correct judgment, absolutely. Ms. Trinidad is saying it's a happy day in Jamaica. I believe some would disagree with you there, but it is indeed the court of public opinion. Shauna is saying they're going to drag out this case until he finally wins and sue the government. All right, wow. Country is saying, I think the reason Jamaica is pushing to be Republican now is to cook up something. Whoa, all right. Wow. All right. Euroban says system can't take accountability, but then why you take it? Okay. A lot of comments coming in on this one. Let me move to those on our YouTube platform real quick. Let me see. Jamaican people really hate this person bad. That's CJ Martinez. Is that a comment for me there, CJ Martinez? Kirk Allen says, surprise, surprise. Cartel remains locked up and the world still turns. I sense sarcasm there. Barbara Ellington is saying, I'm muted. Ears not allowed to hear the name Cartel or anything to do with him. Political analyst is saying, Lawyer Buchanan. Lawyer Buchanan got the shock of his life. Let me see if I can get in some more. Sandra Murray says, me think safe boot. Bonio. You have to take it off. That one day new to me to Sandra Murray. That one day me never yeah. It caught me as well. Hameen is saying the law is the law. Once the law was correctly applied, no problem. Carl Welsh believes that Vybz Cartel is safer in prison. Let me see if I can get in some more. James is also don't pass around the shoes if you can't wear it. Okay. If it's a bunny, keep it on. Wow. A lot of, you know, a lot of comments coming in on this one. Let me see. Rose Chin says, free world boss with emojis, laughter emojis. CJ Martinez says, freedom soon, teacher. And I'm seeing a comment here from Carlene Smith. I just hope he's not climbing the walls of his cell like a lizard after today's verdict. Time will tell. Patrick Miller says, if you do the crime, do the time. Argument done. All right, a lot of comments coming in on this one. And, you know, June 10 is when submissions will be made in the Court of Appeal. And then we will hear a ruling, whenever the ruling is ready, from the Court of Appeal as it relates to what will happen next. Thank you guys so much for participating in Public Opinion. I'm Robeanne Williams. Do stay tuned. Up next, the Business Report.
Public Opinion was brought to you by Cleasing Industrial Supplies Limited, Industrial Automation and Control Solutions.
Hello, good evening, and welcome to Nationwide's Business Report. I'm Robeanne Williams. Persons traveling to Jamaica are being encouraged to fill out the online Immigration Customs Declaration C5 form prior to entering the country. Now, Business Development and Communications Director at the Passport, Immigration and Citizenship Agency, PICA, Connor McKenzie, told JIS News that although persons can complete the form on arrival, it is best to do so beforehand to reduce wait time in the immigration hall. Now, she noted that persons can complete the form up to 30 days before they land in the island. Ms. McKenzie noted that PICA still has provisions for persons who opt to fill out the form when they arrive on Jamaican soil. Further afield, the US and Europe have separately announced major takedowns of cybercrime networks that defrauded people of billions. The US has arrested Chinese national Yunhee Wang and seized assets, including a Ferrari, luxury watches, and 21 properties. While Europol, Europe's crime agency, has made 4 arrests, but said 8 fugitives are on the run. Those fugitives will be added to Europe's most wanted list. Both the U.S. Department of Justice and Europol, which claimed their operations were the biggest bust of a botnet in the world. Cybercriminals use so-called botnets to take over people's computers and install malicious software. Now, this software can then be used to collect data from a computer, send spam, or even delete personal data without the owner's knowledge. And finally, in the currency markets at the close of trading today, it cost 156 Jamaican dollars and 50 cents to buy $1 US, 200 Jamaican dollars and 18 cents to buy 1 British pound, and 114 Jamaican dollars and 79 cents to buy the Canadian dollar. That's the Business Report. I'm Robianne Williams. Good evening.
Drive the most exciting new vehicles in Jamaica. Schedule your 2024 Ford Ranger pickup or Ford Everest 7-seater SUV test drive now. Call or visit KIG today.
The time by KIG is
6:36.
KFC hot wings, a wing for the win. From your taste one wing, there's just no stopping. KFC hot wings, it's finger licking, spicy or barbecue. Which one you picking? Good for have on the go. Any flex, any link. Best wing, best believer. We said the thing, long lasting flavor. We stay winning. KFC hot wings, a wing for the win. KFC hot wings, delicious, irresistible. Enjoy a 10-piece combo or 25-piece party bucket today in hot and spicy or spicy barbecue. KFC hot wings, a wing for the win.
Takes place at the Racers Grand Prix, Saturday, June 1 at the National Stadium. World champion Noah Lyles, British record holder Zarnel Hughes, Africa's fastest man Ferdinand Amanyala, and Jamaica's favorite Oblique Seville battling the 100 meters. World champion Antonio Watson takes on champion Allison. Olympic champion Hansel Parchment graces the track in his pet event. St. Lucian hotshot Julian Alfred goes up against the young Jamaican Joel Alana Reid. Devin Charlton takes on Akira Nugent. Tickets available at racersgrandprix.com, mysticonlinetix.com, and the Jamaica Pegasus starting May 24. Finish line $5,000, regular grandstand $3,000, bleachers $500. Don't miss a great night experiencing Jamaica's track appeal, passion, and entertainment.
Me grew up as my granny save her money under her mattress. But at an old time something. That's where I save my money in the bank. And because I want to buy a little house, I also save in a building society. We have to be smart with how we save our money.
So what if the bank crash?
Well, that's where JDIC comes in. Make I tell you something. With the JDIC Deposit Insurance Scheme, once you save your money in a commercial bank, merchant bank, or building society, your deposit is covered up to a maximum of $1.2 million per depositor per financial institution if the institution fails. All the information that you need is available at jdic.org, and you can follow their social media platform for more information.
JDIC, protecting deposits for you and me.
My name is Kedrin Campbell. I come from the Appleton Basic School. My favorite Olympic hero is Shelly Ann Fraser-Pryce.
Watch for Shelly Ann Fraser-Pryce.
Looking back now, I say there's no barrier when it comes to your passion and your calling as time honors your greatness. So I thank you so much, and I pray that you'll be an inspiration to all young girls, mainly the girls, to know that there's no limits when you believe what you believe and continue to work hard. We are strong, we are powerful, and most importantly, we are fearless.
It's glorious gold once again to Shelly Ann Fraser-Pryce.
Stay tuned to the Paris Olympic on Nationwide 90 FM. Yay!
Join Jamaicans for Justice for their third and final town hall in their constitutional reform, Safeguarding Human Rights Town Hall series. Friday, May 31, 2024, from 5 p.m. to 8 p.m. at the Carl Hendrickson Auditorium at Jamaica College. Engage directly with top industry experts and advocates. Professor Trevor Monroe, King's Counsel Michael Hilton, Tamika Harris, and Clyde Williams. Come with your questions and concerns, then leave with answers. See you in Kingston. Contact 876-755-4524 for more details.
Tune in to this broadcast during Nationwide at 5, 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. on May 31, 2024. Catch Nationwide at 5 on the grounds of Jamaica College or tune in to Nationwide at 90 FM, the new revolution in media. This broadcast is brought to you by Jamaicans for Justice. Justice for one, justice for all.
As a parent, you give your children a good start in life. You nurture, protect, and guide them. Parenting is a process that prepares your child for independence. As your child grows and develops, there are many things you can do to help your child. Stay tuned to The Big Show, nationwide this morning, for parenting tips. Fridays at 6:53 a.m. Only here will you learn everything you need to know about parenting. Tips to help parents navigate the incredibly challenging and rewarding journey of child rearing. Parenting tips on Nationwide at 90 FM, the revolution in media.
Chewy flavor with delight. It really, really nice. May I say it twice?
The time by Jamaica Mountain Peak Golden Turmeric Latte is
6:41. Good evening, listeners, viewers. You're in the nation's business, and I'm Siobhan Campbell.
And I'm Ricardo Brooks.
Well, we are going overseas, where if you've been following today, you'll have heard now Donald Trump has been found guilty on 34 felony charges. The former U.S. president has been found guilty of falsifying business records by a Manhattan jury. The unanimous verdict was handed down Thursday afternoon, and Trump, as I said, was found guilty on all 34 felony counts. The 12 jurors deliberated for just over 11 hours before returning their decision.
It's the first time in U.S. history that a former president is being found guilty of crimes. The court heard from 22 witnesses over 6 weeks, including the porn star Stormy Daniels. Now, Daniels' alleged sexual encounter with Trump is at the center of the case.
Prosecutors had claimed Trump falsified records to conceal payments made by his former lawyer, Michael Cohen, to buy the ex-adult film star's silence shortly before the 2016 presidential election. Trump had pleaded not guilty and claimed without evidence that the prosecution was politically motivated. Trump spoke to reporters shortly after learning he was now a convicted felon.
This was a disgrace. This was a rigged trial by a conflicted judge who was corrupt. It's a rigged trial, a disgrace. They wouldn't give us a venue change. We were at 5% or 6% in this district, in this area. This was a rigged, disgraceful trial. But the real verdict is going to be November 5th by the people. And they know what happened here, and everybody knows what happened here. You have a Soros-backed DA and the whole thing. We didn't do a thing wrong. I'm a very innocent man, and it's okay. I'm fighting for our country. I'm fighting for our Constitution. Our whole country is being rigged right now. This was done by the Biden administration in order to wound or hurt an opponent, a political opponent. And I think it's just a disgrace. And we'll keep fighting. We'll fight till the end and we'll win.
That's Donald Trump speaking shortly after his conviction. That was the video, I should say, was from ABC News. So, well, joining us to discuss further is the former member of the Florida State House of Representatives, Mike Hill, and senior fellow for Shorenstein Center at the Harvard Kennedy School of Government, Professor Richard Parker. Good evening, gentlemen.
Good evening.
Good evening. Good evening.
Professor Parker, let me start with you. I want you to react because, the U.S. networks are, describing this as historic, unprecedented, saying that the United States is now in uncharted waters. How do you react to this?
Well, I mean, it is historic as a factual argument, but I don't know what its historicity is going to look like 5 years from now. He can run for office as a convicted felon and be elected president of the United States. So his ability to exercise power is quite extraordinary if, in fact, he wins the election. I think what we are is in the midst of a slow-moving melodrama that is going to reach its conclusion, starting with the November election, but will probably spill out for weeks afterwards as individual votes are counted that they have challenged state by state. In other words, I think that we're in a long-running, theatrical, semi-hysterical national breakdown, if you will, and we're not out of that yet. So we'll have to wait and see what the historicity of this moment actually is.
Mm-hmm. Michael, what do you make of today's conviction?
It is a shame and a disgrace on the United States of America. It was a travesty of justice. There was no crime that was committed by President Trump. And then when we have this judge, as Trump accurately described as being conflicted, why is he conflicted? Because he has a daughter who raised over $90 million off of this campaign as a consultant, which she was paid for doing. And then he has a wife who worked for Attorney General Letitia James. He was completely conflicted. There was no way he could be unbiased and impartial as a judge in this situation. As Trump mentioned, he was given a venue in New York City where 87% of the votes went for Joe Biden. There was no way he was going to be able to find an impartial jury in that jurisdiction. He asked for a change of venue. It did not happen. Many times when he would his attorneys would try to present evidence, it was suppressed and not allowed to. This guilty verdict was already determined before the trial began.
Well,
and that was obvious to everyone.
Well, certainly not obvious to us here, Mike Hill. But let me ask you, let me pick up on that argument about relations to the judge. Because if I take you at your word that because his family members may have contributed or worked for Democratic officials, would that same argument apply to the wife of Supreme Court Justice Samuel Alito, who has been seen flying a flag associated with a partisan viewpoint, and he has presided over cases directly dealing with Trump and dealing with the matters to which that flag has been associated? Would that same argument of improper motive be applied?
Are you talking about flying the American flag?
The American flag upside down, which has been used to signify or be related to the Stop the Steal movement, and also the Appeal to Heaven flag, which indicates that America should...
When you fly the flag upside down, that is a statement of distress.
Right, but also used... But also used...
Okay, so that has
but also
nothing
used
to
by
do
Trump's
with
supporters.
How he might rule. No, I don't.
No, but again, that's the point. No, but that's exactly the point. So even if Judge Merchan's relations have been associated with Democratic politics, that has no bearing on how he does his job. If you use the same argument and you apply the same argument to Justice Alito.
Well, of course it does. But see, you're confusing the point. Judge Alito was not on this trial. He was
but he is presiding.
That's outside the issue.
But he is presiding. He's presiding over a legal matter involving Donald Trump, and a legal matter which a flag has been associated with, and he's flown it in, or his wife has, as he has said, in their front yard. And I'm just trying to understand how the principle works if your relations are found to have acted improperly, or not even improperly, but just be associated with a matter that you're presiding over.
Well, here's the thing. Our founding fathers when they wrote the Declaration of Independence, they listed 27 grievances. And the grievance that is cited the most often is taxation without representation. That was actually listed number 14 of the 27. What was listed more than any other grievance were 4 grievances against judges. It's because of how King George appointed judges were behaving poorly and against the early settlers. And just like we had those 4 grievances listed in our Declaration of Independence, which, by the way, the solution of all the grievances can be found in our Constitution. And it's because of our Constitution and the separation of powers that were declared. And when you read the articles of powers that were given to each of the different branches, the legislative branch had more. Then comes the executive branch. The least powers was given to the judicial branch.
Right, and a jury of Mr. Trump's peers.
The point that I'm making
a
is
jury of
that
Mr. Trump's
we
peers has
still
found
have
him guilty.
conflicted judges today. We still have improper judges today who are making the wrong decisions, all based on political bias.
But you don't apply that principle to Justice Alito.
Could I jump in here? I mean,
Please, Professor Parker.
But it just seems that the two commentators from Kingston are making a point about an analogy, not an identity. They're not asserting that Justice Alito is involved in the current Trump case.
Correct.
And I don't know why our listener from Florida can't grasp the distinction and recognize that what the commentators are doing is asking, all right, you're asserting that there are inadequate or corrupt judges. All you've done is assert their inadequacy or corruption in this one particular case because you from Florida don't like the outcome. You haven't told us how many on multiple sides of the judiciary might be corrupt in your mind, or how you could get to that decision other than that you didn't like the decision, so therefore were able to conclude that he was corrupt. That's not a particularly persuasive line of argument.
It isn't at all. And I'd love to hear you, Professor, on that point about the division of power between the branches of government, that somehow the judges should be, their decision should be, taken less seriously because the Constitution, allocated less power to them in the separation of government model.
That is not what I said. But what I said was they are not a co-equal branch of government.
Okay.
They were designed to be the least powerful. And that is why they had the least number of powers that were admitted to them.
Very well. I'll accept that. But let me just hear the professor of government on that. Is that your understanding, Professor, that the judiciary is not a co-equal branch?
So under Justice Marshall, it's clear that the court expanded its power and established itself as a co-equal power very early on in the constitutional history of the United States. And if what this gentleman wants to do is reverse Marbury versus Madison or any of the other key court decisions that establish the incredibly important co-equal value of the Supreme Court, he's welcome to do so, but I don't know what he plans to conclude from that. Both parties, all
let me give you an example. Let me give you an example.
Hold on, Mr. Hill. Let him finish the point.
Let me show you how.
Hold on, Mr. Hill. Just hold on. Hold on, Mr. Hill. Let him finish the point, and then we'll come to you.
Yeah, it's just that. Yeah. So I'm sorry. It's just that I think we've wandered too far away from the question at hand, which is, I think, to try to read what it is that will be the consequences of this trial. My own is that while it may be historic in the sense of being a first in which a former president or president is convicted of a felony, we don't know what its historical significance will be because we don't know what it will do to alter the arc or direction of the electoral challenge that is at the heart of selecting our next president in November, and that it is likely at this point to be a very close contest. And the historic significance of this, if we look back retrospectively, is that we might be able to say after this court decision, X percentage of voters who were undecided or inclined to vote for Trump moved away from that decision. But it's going to be very, very difficult.
You are absolutely wrong. Let me tell you what this sham conviction has just done. It has elected President Donald Trump as president. I'm going to tell you why. The American people always root for the underdog. And Donald Trump has been created the underdog by this false judicial system, by the Biden administration, who is behind all of this.
Where is the evidence of that?
Not only this trial, but also the three other trials.
Where is the evidence?
Going on right now.
Where is the evidence?
All being orchestrated by the Biden administration.
Where is the evidence that the Biden? Where is the evidence?
And they are going.
Mr. Hill.
To cause
Mr. Hill.
the Biden administration to lose.
Mr. Hill.
Donald Trump is going to win this next election. You mark my words.
Mr. Hill, I would love for you.
Yes.
To help our listeners with facts. Where is the evidence that the Biden administration is behind a state prosecution?
Several ways. There was an attorney working on this case. I think his name was Castellano, something like that, who worked in the Biden administration, who also was working with the case that's going on in Georgia with Fannie Willis. When that imploded, he left there and then went to New York and started working on this trial. He was also working on the trial with Letitia James, the same attorney who communicates frequently with the Biden White House. That is proof enough.
No, it's not. It is not at all proof enough. It is not at all proof enough.
From the Biden administration.
That is not at all proof enough, Mr. Hill.
Sure it is.
No, you need a little bit more than that.
You know, I'm old enough of this group to think we're in sort of grassy knoll Dallas 63 territory, where allegations of second shooters and the like surfaced early and will remain, but I do think the commentators are right that we need some evidence rather than an assertion that there was a second shooter spotted on a grassy knoll.
And just for the benefit of our listeners, just explain that reference to the grassy knoll, Professor. That's the assassination of President...
Yes. In 1963, in November 63, when President Kennedy was assassinated in Dallas, Texas, the initial story was that he was assassinated by a single figured, Oswald, Lee Harvey Oswald. But soon thereafter, an enormous industry of doubt developed, and one of the theories was that there had been a second shooter who had been shooting from a grassy knoll near to the president's limousine, who had actually hit the president.
So it turned out to be a conspiracy theory.
Existed for 50 years.
Yes.
But the evidence...
Oh, it turned out to be true. There was a second shot. And there's evidence of that. That's why there was blood on the Secret Service agent who was behind the motorcade.
Mr. Hill?
It wasn't conspiracy.
Mr.
That was
Hill?
completely true.
Mr. Hill?
There were two shots that hit President Kennedy that assassinated him. It wasn't just one. It was covered up for many years.
Mr. Hill?
But no, there were two shots that hit Kennedy. But again, we're moving so far away from the point of what the initial thing is, and that was this guilty verdict, this sham guilty verdict against President Trump, where the conflicted Judge Merchant then gave the instructions to the jurors and said that it did not have to be unanimous in their decision of what they were coming to their conclusion. When every other trial in New York, the 12 jurors have to all be in agreement for it to be unanimous on all 34 counts.
Mr.
That
Hill,
did not
Mr.
happen.
Hill, that's
and
not
the judge told them that
that wasn't that was not the judge's instructions. No, Mr. Hill. The judge's instruction was that they did not have to come to a unanimous reasoning on what was behind the reason for the false payments. That was the instruction. But they had to be certain and unanimous that he was guilty of falsifying the records. The question was whether they had to be unanimous on what it was in furtherance of. and the judge said they didn't have to be unanimous on that. Just to be clear for all
and
listeners.
that is the case of election interference.
Precisely. Final comment to you, Professor. In terms of, you talked about the undecided voters. You say you're not quite sure whether it will move the needle. Mr. Hill seems to think that it will move the needle in the direction of former President Trump. How does the Biden campaign react to this, you think, going forward?
Well, I'm not a spokesman for the Biden campaign, so I can't give you that answer. What I think the Biden campaign will say is what they've said all along, and it's at the heart of President Biden and staff's steadiness in the face of polls that show him running behind Trump in key states, which is it's 1,000 years until we get to November, literally 1,000 years, and so many things can happen. The United States has just authorized the use by the Ukrainians of U.S. missiles and artillery to attack Russian bases and Russian production centers of military material inside Russia. You have 1.5 million people in Gaza right now who are on the verge of starvation, and an Israeli government that says that it plans to continue this military operation at least until the end of this calendar year. You have a Hong Kong in which the other conviction today, if we're to talk about convictions, was of dozens of pro-democracy activists who are now going to be sentenced to prolonged jail terms for simply wanting Hong Kong to be a democracy functioning as an island within the dictatorial Chinese communist world. So, I at this point am more concerned about the United States navigating its way to the end of this year and into a new year and a new era in which we take seriously our responsibilities for leadership. We're someplace else, and it's heartbreaking for someone like me to see this happening. I think we will recover from it. I'm not certain that we will. But I think not just for America's sake, but for the world's sake, we need to quickly find our footing again. And hopefully at the end of this trial will have an effect on the elections. But we shall see what that turns out to be in net terms in November.
Just to ask you, Mr. Parker, what is the likelihood of Mr. Trump facing jail time? I believe the maximal charge is 4 years for this crime. What is the likelihood of that even being up, even going to prison?
I've talked to 3 people this evening. One of them, a former dean of Harvard Law, so I can, without quoting that person, say that they think that any significant sentencing is really unlikely, that the judge recognizes what the political context is for all of this. And that really the question is how it will be used by Trump and the Republicans, because the judge has chosen to set the sentencing date for 4 days before the start of the Republican convention, at which we have to assume that Donald Trump will be nominated. So we shall see what happens.
And Mike Hill, do you believe, considering what is to come up on that July date, do you feel that there will be no shaking the faith of the Republicans in their potential nominee?
It is going to strengthen that base, and it is going to grow. Let the judge go ahead. He set that July 11th date intentionally. It could have been done after the convention. There's no rush. But he set it intentionally just before the RNC convention. And when he sets that sentence, you are going to hear a roar coming from Trump's base. It is going to grow. That is what's going to happen. It's going to strengthen and embolden them. Just like that photograph of him being taken when he was indicted and went to jail. They took that mugshot of him, of how that emboldened his followers. This sentencing is also going to embolden them. It's going to cause more to come out and vote. In 2016, 40 million Christians sat home. did not go to that election.
And you
are
think
not
somebody
going to see a
being
repeat of that
and you
this
think
time.
somebody
they
being
are going to come out and vote in mass
for somebody
to
being
make sure
convicted
that we
of
overturn this
paying
injustice.
off a porn star? You think Christians are going to come out and vote for that?
Vote for what? For a porn
Vote
star?
for somebody who has been convicted of falsifying records to pay off a porn
cover
star.
up a porn star payment.
Yeah, that's what they're going to come out and vote for?
No, that's nonsense.
And
Utter
and
nonsense.
convicted of rape
There's a
several
letter
months ago.
signed by Stormy Daniels saying there never was any relationship between the two of them, but they were not allowed to see that in court. Donald Trump said they were paying Mr. Cohen for his legal services, and that lying person who has been known to lie and admitted that he was stealing from Donald Trump during the trial.
Birds of a feather,
He
Mr.
said
Hill.
that he gave that to Stormy Daniels.
Birds of a
the
feather,
Trump
Mr. Hill.
administration did not. No, Christians are going to come out in force because they realize the sham that this entire trial is, and they are going to vote for Donald Trump. You watch. This is what I challenge you to do.
We'll be
On
watching.
the
We'll be
night
watching, and we
after
will.
election,
We
you
will.
have
I
me back on
promise.
your
We'll.
show.
I promise. I promise. We'll have that.
And from
Have me
game
back on your
results
show
say
the
that
night
I,
after
as
the
a
election,
Christian,
and
will
you
be
will
very
see
interested
Donald Trump will
to see how
win.
this
And they should not be counting votes weeks and so forth afterwards.
Okay, Mr. Hill.
It should be done by midnight like it used to be.
All right, Mr. Hill. Professor, final word.
Final word. One hopes that democracy comes out stronger rather than weaker from not just what is happening today, but what happens over the next several months and years. We're at a turning point where I think it's widely recognized that democracy in lots of countries is under threat. I also think it's an opportunity to move democracy forward.
All right. Thank you so much, former member of the Florida State House of Representatives.
May I just add just a little bit, please?
Republican Mike Hill.
Professor, we are not a democracy. We are a republic. There's a huge difference between the two. Democracy says mob rule. Republic says that the majority rules as long as it is within the constraints of the rule of law. And that is what our founding fathers set up. They detested democracy. I'm surprised.
Thank you, gentlemen. Senior fellow at the Shorenstein Center at the Harvard Kennedy School of Government, Professor Richard Parker. You know, we're really in the upside down place, you know, when you have a MAGA Republican lecturing a senior fellow of government on government. And listeners, a lot of what Mr. Hill said just now, I have to say it, is not borne out by any fact. Right? And this has been the way of Donald Trump and his acolytes to simply say things, and on the strength of their conviction to pretend as if it's true.
All I will say, this upcoming November...
It shouldn't be all you should say. You should say much more, Siobhan Campbell, because you were very silent and I noted your silence. While a lot of half-truths were being peddled.
All I will say is this coming November will be interesting. That is all I will say.
I don't know if I'm as hopeful as the professor, though. He says he hopes democracy prevails. I don't know. I don't know. So will the Christians come out? This is it? This is going to move them?
I don't know if that optimism that Mr. Hill showed regarding the Christian caucus as to
but they
their
have shown
enthusiasm for...
No, but the wide evangelical base has shown their willingness to be in lockstep with Donald Trump. He has delivered to them one of their greatest policy hopes.
I once spoke to a
which
lawyer
is to
about
overturn
this
Roe
matter,
v. Wade.
and I agree with him on this simple principle. Their knee-jerk reaction to quash this was far out of variance with the actual crime that was committed. Well, it wasn't even a crime that was committed.
In other words,
Scandal.
It wasn't serious enough?
The potential scandal.
Is that
I
it?
think
it wasn't serious enough?
I don't feel that... I think their knee-jerk reaction in terms of what they thought would happen had it come out that the president had slept with attempting to become president at the time had slept with a porn star would not have had the same devastating impact as they would have thought, as in someone now being convicted of trying to cover it up. There's a difference there. The crime to cover up always seems to be worse than the crime itself.
Right. And that's what he has been convicted of.
Precisely. So I
cover
feel
up, which is why the
2016,
judge,
they should have just allowed it to go.
which is the instruction the judge gave, that it's not about what you think the original crime
precisely.
was.
It's the cover up that's
It
the
is
issue.
the cover up.
Which I feel in 2016 they should have just allowed it to play when it played, and
as in the Trump campaign.
I just allowed the chips to fall with him.
The Trump
as they had
campaign.
allowed so many other things at the time.
As that infamous tape.
Precisely.
So you're saying that you don't think they should have?
Yes,
taped
rather
it?
than go through the trouble of this cover up and this attempt to pay off a porn star. I asked this question at this juncture in 2024, not 2016, but now in 2024. Does anyone really care that Donald Trump slept with a porn star?
No, I think we knew that was probably part of the course. What we care about is the falsifying of
Precisely. Why did we go through this trouble?
Because he broke the law.
No, not this trouble. As in, why did you go through the trouble of covering it up? Why go through the
Because,
trouble?
well, I think at the time the conventional wisdom was that as a Republican, anything deemed immoral, you'd have a difficulty with the base, certainly the Christian base of the Republican Party. And that was the thinking at the time.
But I've always questioned that.
And remember, and
legitimacy.
you also have to remember, that in 2016 it was not at all a foregone conclusion that he would win.
Clearly.
Everybody thought Hillary Clinton was a stronger candidate. I mean, she got more votes, but put that aside for now. Everybody thought it was a foregone conclusion that she would win. So I imagine Trump would have wanted to avoid anything that would derail his campaign.
But I wonder, even in that vacuum, did he really foresee the large majority of Christian voters would find themselves voting against him?
No, he feared that, and which is why he needed to do everything to ensure that he didn't upset them to the point where they either abstained or stayed home. Remember, he had a challenge bringing them over because they doubted his sincerity as a Republican.
Well, I think at the end of the day, it was just a bad decision as played out by the fact that you are now facing 34 felony charges with a potential...
He's known to make bad decisions.
with a potential stint in jail.
I don't think he's going to go
I
to jail.
don't know if that was worth it.
I don't think he's going to go to jail. But he's known to make bad decisions. The numbers to call, listeners, 630-937-124, 618-8255. After the break.
The mission of the Ministry of Legal and Constitutional Affairs includes revising Jamaica's legal and constitutional infrastructure and accelerating the pace of reform. The time by the MLCA is
7:11.
Welcome deluxe, the cream cracker that rises to the top. So crisp, so light, so buttery. When you're good, you're just good. Hey, had the national flavor. You go want to buy this bag. So good, it's just so good. Welcome deluxe, the cream cracker that rises to the top. So crisp, so light, so buttery. National Baking Company, just so good.
Plan your tomorrow today. Introducing JMMB's Hello Future Retirement Planning website. Figure out how much you'll need to be set for life with our calculated tools and tips at your fingertips. Visit hellofuture.jmmb.com and start your journey to your dream retirement today. Conditions apply.
12 minutes after 7, we're taking your calls, 630-937-124, 618-8255, and we're also standing by, listeners, to throw you to the launch of Reggae Sunfest, yeah? So as soon as that gets on the way, we'll send you there. But you ever go to Sumfest?
Never.
Oh, okay. They never go? Sorry? He knows what Sumfest is. He asked me about it earlier. Sheva knows what Sumfest is. Right, Siobhan? Right, Siobhan?
I know it's some kind of reggae show.
Oh, Lord.
Does that shock you? That's not my scene.
No, right.
It's
Yeah,
not
no.
my scene.
Yeah, no.
I will make no qualms. I'm not ashamed to say that it's not the circle that I run in.
It's a very significant
That's how I understand.
festival. Yeah.
That's how I understand.
Music stuff. Okay. All right, cool. launches tonight, listeners, and we're going to throw it to that once it happens. The number is 630-937-124, 618-8255. What's on your mind? All that's been in the news, anything happening in your neck of the woods, come chat with us. I see with the cynic saying, I don't think Donald John Trump will win the election. My question is, should he win, do you see him giving himself a pardon? If not him, who then will pardon him?
I would say that would be insane for any president to do, but then Donald Trump is the type of president who would quite literally pardon himself from a crime, wouldn't he?
Well, right. So, but I don't think he can pardon himself of a state conviction. I think the pardon power for the
federal
president
offenses
only extends to federal matters. So I don't think he can pardon himself of this. But I wouldn't be surprised if he tries it. He has been pushing the limits of the presidential power. And it's an interesting. I think it's an interesting legal question. It is to settle it. Can he do that? So let's see if he tries.
But I genuinely find Trump fascinating. The inability to learn.
What I find fascinating.
I just find that fascinating.
I think that's just a feature of narcissism. But what I find fascinating about him is how powerful he is as a political force. That has been interesting to me.
That doesn't surprise me.
It surprises me because he has gotten people who are smarter than him, who know government and politics better than him, to just be completely docile and subservient. That just to watch them line up and just fall in line, that has been surprising to me. Even the ones who claim that they're standing on principle. Most recently, Nikki Haley.
I was surprised about that.
Who properly outlined all the dangers he represented, and then said, you know what? Oh well, I'm going to vote for him anyway.
It doesn't surprise me because he has so captured a large segment of the Republican base, the MAGA base, as you put it, that any attempt for a sitting or someone seeking to attain high office on a Republican ticket would be committing political suicide to stand against him.
Yeah, I don't know.
So I feel their pain that they have to essentially stand behind him. I'm sure many.
But isn't there a point where even if you have to pay a political price, you decide that it is important to stand on the principle, which is why I respect Liv Cheney. Which is why I respect Liv Cheney, because she's a dangerous Republican. She has some dangerous right-wing views. But there was a point at which she said, no, this far can I go and no further.
And she was excised from the party.
And she's stood on that principle. But I respect that.
One assumed that moment was January 6th, but they've found ways now to muddy the waters on that matter of the January 6th insurrection.
But even then, when it just happened, there seemed to have been a point where they seemed to have said, okay, we're not going to go any further with you. And then it just all fell in line. That's what I'm saying.
As I said, they found ways now to muddy the matter regarding January 6th and move on from it. I think the moment now will be the upcoming election where, and this, I don't believe he'll win. I'm going to be brutally honest. I don't believe Donald Trump will win the upcoming election. I think if he fails at the ballot in the upcoming election, that's it. I feel that
he's definitely going to prison after that, because then there's no protection.
I don't know about that, but
certainly the federal cases would go ahead.
I believe at that point the Republican Party would be so decimated in terms of at the polls and their electability that they will have to rebuild and find a new way forward.
But then, Siobhan, that's just the thing. From all we have seen, a significant number of Americans, we could say fully half of the country, based on how close things are, have no problem with his antecedents, with his behavior, with his record in office. They have no problem with it.
I've grown very mistrusting of American polls, specifically.
Let's be very specific. So let's use
polls.
So let's use absolute numbers in terms of votes that he received in the last election.
Yes, there are significant number, but enough to sway an election is the real question.
No, meaning so many people were comfortable voting for him. They have no problem. They have no difficulty.
But we're talking about the winning of an election, not the ability to have a presence in an election.
I don't think we realize how close he came. So sure, Joe Biden, what 306 electoral votes? But when you look at the margins in the different states, it was thin. 20,000 in Pennsylvania, 10,000 in Arizona, 11,000 in Georgia. He could have won. He came close.
And there's a matter of the mail-in voting that many people have suggested without
there's nothing wrong with mail-in
voting.
voting.
Not saying that there was something wrong with mail-in.
Okay.
They were suggesting that without the power of those mail-in votes, he would have been able to go over.
Possibly, yes. He got 74 million votes.
I use this term, maybe I'm being naive, but I don't think the majority of American housewives and American, just normal, standard Americans will view Trump as a potential president going forward. You have the people who are hardliners.
I hope you're right.
And the people who are just staunch Republicans who will back him no matter what. But I think the ability to become the president in this political climate will require you to be appealing to more than those hardliners on either side.
So you think, okay, so you're hoping that a sensible middle will come into
I
play.
wouldn't even call them middle, just sensible, normal people will look at this and say, this man cannot be president. End of discussion.
I hope you're right. I hope you're right. I hope you're right. Should Mark Golding renounce?
Yes, that's an easier one for me to answer because I've already stated that I don't think anybody should be in the parliament with a dual citizenship. So I think he should renounce. That's not even a question for me. Is he legally required? I can't speak to that, but I'm not speaking on legal requirements. That is my moral red line.
Principled.
Simple as that.
I agree. It's a kind of amazing to me, I have to tell you, that, he has allowed this to continue for so long without that. Because why would you hold on to it? Why? Why wouldn't you just make that ultimate statement of loyalty to Jamaica?
When I asked him the question at that press conference where he suggested that this was of his own opinion, I did not know he was a dual citizen.
I don't think a lot of us
I
didn't
was
know
just curious as to what his thinking was, as to why he believes dual citizens should be allowed to sit in the parliament. I realized there are people from the PPP suggesting to me that he was not advocating for himself.
Right.
I will accept that at face value, but to me, when it colors his answer that he had given me at the time when I did not know he was a dual citizen.
It appeared self-serving. It appeared self-serving.
It colored the answer to me.
Yes.
When I found out later, I was a bit taken aback. You're a dual citizen and you gave such an answer. You should have put in the context that, by the way, I'm a dual citizen. There's nothing illegal about me sitting here, and I believe that my Commonwealth citizenship should be extended to others. So those sitting in the United States to be allowed to sit in the parliament. I would have accepted that.
Enjoy that privilege.
I would have accepted that legally, even if I don't agree with you morally. But when I asked him the question at the press conference, not understanding that he held dual citizenship, and he gave that answer, to find out that he held the dual citizenship, I was genuinely taken aback.
Yeah. 630-9371 to 461-88255. Derek? Good evening, Derek.
Yes, I would like to add another dimension to the discussion you're having about the Trump phenomenon.
Yes.
I think what is playing out is, in this political divide in America, is the fact that a large percentage of the white American public is fighting to retain its, for want of a better term, it's white supremacy.
The hegemony.
I've heard that argument, Derek. Yeah, I've heard that argument. That they're afraid of the changes that they see around them.
The change is real. It is happening. It's predicted that in the next
they'll not be a majority. By, I believe it's 2040, it's expected that white Americans will not be a majority in the United States.
Right. And I think that this is what is causing people who are rational, people who you would think would know better, to vote for Trump, even if they know what type of person he is. This is why, that's how you can explain why Nikki Haley is still going to vote for him, even though she knows that, this not a good person to elect as president. It's a last grasp at the straw of white supremacy to maintain the status quo.
Yeah,
This is the only way you can explain what's happening in America right now. There's no logic to it. Where people who know better, who are in possession of the facts, will continue to.
But do you think?
Sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead. Finish your point. But I would like to put a question to you afterwards. Go ahead.
Yeah, these people will continue to ignore the facts and hide their heads in the sand around the madness that is happening. This is what is playing out in America right now.
But do you think that it may run a little deeper than maybe not just race, but other cultural and societal change that a lot of Americans believe run counter to their values, and they feel abandoning their potential, their best potential at this point to retain the presidency, or I should say regain the presidency, that they'll turn up their nose and vote for Trump regardless of his flaws. Just consider the bigger picture in their minds.
The picture that the situation that they are trying to preserve is one in which white racists will continue to maintain the levers of power in America. That's why that's the only way you can explain what's happening right now.
I don't know if I can understand that component of it, but I believe there are a lot of Americans who are concerned about where particularly the extreme left in the country would like to take the United States. And I think there are a lot of people who look at Trump and say, better him than allowing the Democrats to have more control.
And I also want to say, Derek, I don't necessarily think,
extreme left in America.
I also don't necessarily think that everybody who votes for Donald Trump is racist or has racist.
Yeah, that's too broad a blanket to it.
No, that is just one component.
Okay, I just want to say that.
It stretches well beyond that, right? It is half of the country, just below half of the country, wants to preserve the notion that white people are superior.
I don't know if it...
You'll never get them to come out and to admit it, except when they vote.
I don't know if I share that view.
I don't know if it's superiority. I think it's more a fear, as you started at the top of the conversation, of seeing the changes around them, being worried about, the direction the country is headed, whether it be racial issues, whether it be, as Siobhan said, there are some leftist ideas that have been put out there that frighten people, right?
There are no leftist ideas out there.
Oh, well.
There are no leftist ideas out there. There's not much difference in philosophy between the two parties in America, except for the race.
No, man.
There are many fundamental issues.
The political ideology, there are fundamental differences on
For example,
a lot
the
of
matter
things.
of abortion, the matter of gender fluidity, many of these issues that are main talking points for...
The culture wars. The culture wars
broadly. Let's call it that broadly, the culture wars.
But the majority of people in America are in favor of abortion. They are.
Polling says that. All right, polling says that.
The difference is that the Supreme Court, right, is colored by the six evangelicals that sit on it. Well, at least 5 of them. That's what makes the difference. It has nothing to do with
But there are many grassroots Republicans who reject abortion as a right. And there are many even in the center who, while supporting abortion, they question at what point an abortion should be allowed, under what circumstances. There are many complex matters around that, and there are other topics of great complexity.
Yes, but the only reason why what I'm saying is that the majority of Americans are in favor of abortion, except for what's happening in the Supreme Court.
But there are many issues that motivate voters. So, I think Donald Trump represents a lot of Americans who feel, as you're right, there are many of them among them who are racists, but there are others who also just feel that the country's been taken in the wrong direction.
Politician trying to hold on to power, and to prevent himself from going to jail, no matter what.
We can agree on that one.
He has no principles whatsoever.
We agree on that one. But we're trying to analyze why people would still vote for him, knowing that.
What's keeping him in place, right, is the fact that a large percentage of the American public who see their status quo being changed in another 15, 20 years. And they're hanging on to power. They're hanging on to their social practices.
When you use the term status quo, I can agree with you. But it's when you narrow that term status quo to just race only.
No, I'm just saying race is one of the components.
Yes. But I mean, wouldn't we in Jamaica have a similarly toxic reaction to many things that have been suggested be brought forth as part of changes in our laws? And we've had quite a few adverse reactions to many of them.
Yes, but it has nothing to do with race.
But I was saying that there are components that many of us Jamaicans would disagree with if they came here, such as if they came when they've been discussed here locally, and you can see the reaction that it is quite a toxic reaction. And can you imagine as a Jamaican having people come into the country and dictate to you as to what direction they would like to take the country, and would you sit back and allow them to take it in that direction without voicing your opinion?
On a principled position, probably not. Right? Probably not. But I think Jamaica we have a different set of problems.
You're right. We do have a Maslow's hierarchy of needs. We have a very different set of problems than the United States.
Yes, we do.
Because these are not topics. When people are starving and worried about bread to eat and inflation, I don't think we have the wherewithal to be concerned about matters of gender fluidity and whether there's more
economic. Right?
Yes, basic problems. You have to settle those basic needs before you worry about those more high-pointed positions.
Yeah, but in America, it goes well beyond the economic problems.
Yeah, because we don't have an idea. We don't really have an ideological war in Jamaica.
No, we don't.
Not anymore, at least. Not since the 1990s.
That's why vote buying is such a big profession nowadays.
Because as much as people would say the PNP is a socialist party, I mean, if you compare the socialist if you compare the socialist policies of the JLP and the PNP at this point in time, the JLP has probably instituted more social changes than the People's National Party based on the time frame they've been in office. So calling one party socialist and one party capitalist at this point is a pointless misnomer.
Exactly. In Jamaica, we don't have such a big division.
All right. Thanks for the call, Derek.
Ulrich, evening.
Good evening, Siobhan. Good evening, Ricardo.
Good evening.
I could literally not come on because Derek had said everything that I wanted to say. Basically, I think the white people in America want to hold on to the supremacy. And their lifeline is Donald Trump. Because you guys, you're journalists, make no two bones about it. You still have this prejudicial system in America, white against blacks. And what is happening now is that this Donald Trump is scaring the people of America, leading them down a path, in my opinion, and as Derek said, where that by 1940, 2040, 2045, their bread and butter will be taken away by the other side of the people. Their status quo will be erased in some sense. So if you can find somebody now to lead you, what that to think about, tell you to think about, and then the real guys who I said it is alleged he has to come to the White House on January 6th and demonstrate and to create mayhem. It drives fear into the people. And I think that is where, as Derek said, that is the greatest catalyst that is driving what is going on in America today.
I think Donald Trump epitomizes the kind of political divisions that now run deep in the United States. And many of those political divisions are a lot more complicated than just race. But he's tapped into something that before 2016, I saw really only in online circles. But he tapped into it and was able to make it a more mainstream concern.
And he gave people permission to be open about those ideas, which, as you said, were just fringe ideas.
Yes.
And usually confined to online circles and online fora. Yeah.
And he's managed to wrap those into other legitimate concerns, for example, such as freedom of speech and other issues.
But don't you guys believe that what happened in January 6th was like setting flame to gas, and it ignited after that, and it has become embedded in a lot of these people's brain that we have done it already, so we can do it again because of how Trump is behaving?
That's a legitimate fear, Alric. That's a legitimate fear.
Well, I'm glad you agree with me on that, because if you look down the road, January 6th, had set a precedent that has never, ever happened before.
Yeah.
And scared the hell out of the Americans. And there are a lot of people there who would like to see something like that happen again, especially, a lot of white supremacists still there, man. Want to get back the status quo to where it was in the Jim Crow days. Derek is right.
All right, Alric.
Got to be careful, guys. Have a good evening.
Yeah, man.
Have a good evening.
You too. Siobhan, I'm watching a real-time battle over Donald Trump's Wikipedia page. Because the Democrats, obviously somebody who is anti-Trump, edited the page to say Donald Trump is an American politician, media personality, businessman, and convicted felon who served as the 45th president of the United States. And then I refreshed the page, and convicted felon is gone. And you refresh it again, convicted felon is back. So they're having quite a time, deciding whether they should include that. I'm sure it will eventually stay up.
Because it is a matter of fact.
Unless somebody's going to be on, 24-hour watch to make sure that it stay gunned down. Donald Trump. Who's next? Richard, good evening.
Good evening, gentlemen.
Good evening, sir.
Go ahead, Richard. We're hearing you.
You broke up there a little. Go ahead.
Okay. Yes, it is Donald Trump, but I follow that procedure, but I don't think he's going to be thrown in jail. And one of the main reasons they say the Secret Service details could be a factor, So perhaps he might get false arrest.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to go to jail. I'd be surprised if that happened.
The majority of legal professionals seem to be on the stripe that he'll probably get a commuted sentence, probation, or community service, but not actual jail time.
Or they could just confine him to house. That wouldn't be so bad.
But the reason why I don't believe they do the confined to house is the matter of the fact that he could use that to suggest that they're interfering in his campaign.
Campaign from his basement like Biden did. Richard, unfortunately, we have to leave the call there because we have to throw to the launch of Sumfest now. So sorry about that, all right? All right, so we'll talk again, Richard. All right, listeners, that's all the time we have this evening. We're going to throw you now to the launch of Reggae Sunfest. Special thanks to Dana Davey, Mrs. Brown Bull, Glenn Anderson on the controls, Cara Powell, she leads the newsroom, all our colleagues in the newsroom. Thank you so much for all you did today. Roby, who did good work at the Supreme Court. I'm Ricardo Brooks.
And I'm Siobhan Campbell.
Good evening.
We've been a part of everyday Jamaican life for over 25 years. From paydays to birthdays, unexpected emergencies to anniversary celebrations, the supermarket checkout line, or paying a bill or taxes on time. Our fast, secure debit network provides reliable service so you can always depend on Multilink. Jamaican and proud, fast, secure,
everywhere.
To sustain a show that has been going for over 30 years. And for this year, as I mentioned before, the reintroduction of an international act. The last time we saw an international act was in 2015. Am I right? Am I right? Jennifer Hudson, I believe it was. Yes? Yes, Russell? Yeah? Yes? Yes? Yeah, I believe so. So, this year we're giving you guys much more than just what you're used to on the stage, and it's going to be something to remember. So as we kick things off, ladies and gentlemen, I want to welcome to the stage at this time to give us his opening remarks, Mr. David Lopez, General Manager for Ibero Star, the fantastic space right here that's hosting us. So Lopez, where are you? Please come on up. Can we give it up please for David? David, where are you? Here he comes. David, you want walk-up music? I think it's just right that you get walk-up music. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's Sumfest. Yeah. I will start singing up here, you know. You don't want me to start singing up here, you know, Jigga. Oh, okay. Okay. Don't worry, you may get walk-off music next time. So good to see you. Thank you so much for hosting us again.
Thank you, thank you. Thank you so much. Okay. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is David Lopez, and I'm the new resort manager here at the hotel. And for me, and in behalf of all our staff, it's our pleasure to have you here in this wonderful night, the launch of Sumfest Festival 2024, an event that combines the best of the Jamaica, the best vibrant, the best culture, the best people. So I also want to thank all my team who has this made possible, all the commercial team, all housekeeping, of course the management, entertainment, and all the departments that put a lot of dedication in making this event possible for us. So our main mission in Ibero Star is, of course, providing unforgettable experiences to all our guests, and Sumfest is the best example of it. So thank you one more time for coming, and enjoy this night.
So once you get the walk-off music, you know this song? All right. I'm gonna put your hands together, please, for David Lopez. Yes, I promise you we're going to can't make it happen. Thank you so much for Ibero Star. We've been partying with Reggae Sunfest now for many years. And we thought that really and truly would not be the very same. So big up to all the staff members inside here. Hi, Ibero staff members. Hi, Ibero staff members. Good service. How are you? Listen, big up to all of you for making sure that we're feeling good and welcome here. Well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you. Can we turn on the music a little bit, please, now? Thank you so much. Let's go. All right. Well, since we don't have the lockout on that music, we're going to move on. At this time, let's see what's in camp. Come here and talk over this. Can we have the music turned down, please, at this time? For the person who's controlling it, please. We have votes, but we can't vote. And the next person we're going to need to hear him speak. That is it. Ladies and gentlemen, Reggae Sunfest. A little bit more. Please. All right. Thank you so much. Now, Reggae Sunfest would not be possible without the kind support of our sponsors. And as you saw just now, Caribbean Airlines, they decided to soar with this year's staging of Reggae Sunfest. Anybody inside here love to take Caribbean Airlines all the time? Yes. Big up Caribbean Airlines, because with them, they are guaranteed to give you the good food. Them don't give it us chips and juice. They give you cooked food. right? And we know how important that is when you're taking a flight. They cover the entire region, so we say big up to Caribbean Airlines for partnering with Reggae Sunfest. And we have this year several other amazing partners. So I'm going to be inviting at this time to talk to us about achieving the vision through committed partnership. Delia Gordon. Delia, where are you? Mr. Gordon, come on up. Come on up. Come on up, please. You see, I'm going to start sing for the people in my company stage, you know, honest to God, seriously.
You think so?
Yeah.
I can't sing, you know.
You can't sing. Ooh.
Good evening, everyone. Let me start off with a little manners. Good evening, and thank you again for being here. I want to briefly speak on a topic tonight that I believe most, if not all, can and will appreciate. Achieving the vision through committed partnerships. Now, I've been at Downsound for a very long time, so I've been around the different partners, the sponsors, and I've seen how greatly they've impacted the show to make it what it is today. However, over the last few months, I've been in a new role that I think I've gotten a deeper appreciation and better understanding of what the partners actually do year in, year out to really create what it is you guys see for the festival week. And honestly, boy, they really put their foot down year in and year out, and we really have to thank them for that. Now, for me, anytime I get opportunity, I like to curtail things and use a Jamaican proverb to kind of embody and encapsulate what I'm speaking of. Might not be the best one, but it takes a village. I know it's a very common one, but it takes a village, and Reggae Sunfest was once that child. We've had partners, such as our legacy partner, the Jamaica Tourist Board, that has been with us every step of the way, pun intended. To the plethora of other sponsors, from production to marketing to accommodation, transport, products, just to name a few. That with them, every single year, they've tried their best to go above and beyond for this festival and to show you their creativity in presenting their product, their brand. No matter how different, no matter how unique their identities are, they jump into that melting pot and they produce what you come and see on this year from the 14th to the 20th. I definitely want to give a round of applause to each and every single one of them. For those listening, can I have that round of applause, please? All right, that's enough. Thank you. I want to thank every past, present, and future sponsor for your commitment to this festival, in creating the vision, in producing that vision, and in showing the world what Jamaica can do. With little, but with Talawa, another opportunity. Thank you guys for being here today.
Thank you so much, Delio. And congratulations for maintaining all the partners and relationships over the years. It is absolutely not easy because we know every company has their own visions for the year. But why do you have them KPIs? Some of them change year to year. And oftentimes your brand, your idea doesn't fall within the ideas of the particular people that you're actually trying to get some kind of investment from. But I'm so happy that over the years, year after year, Reggae Sunfest has continuously checked all the boxes on everybody's list of things that they wanted to achieve and partner with each year. So big up to the team at Reggae Sunfest for making sure that they were delivering every single year so that the next year they had all the people behind them same way. I love that for us as Jamaica. Love that for us as a music industry. Now we're streaming live, so hello to everybody who's online. Thank you so much for joining us. You are in for an amazing night, trust me. Reggae Sunfest is indeed the mecca of the Caribbean when it comes on to festivals. Now ladies and gentlemen, some of you may have been aware, most people I think who's seen the news online, but we've lost a member of our music community today. So at this time, I ask that we all stand and we just acknowledge with a moment of silence the passing of a gentleman who has also played on Reggae Sunfest over the years, DJ Smoke. Many of you may know him for playing at different events, clubs across Kingston, across Montego Bay, and so really we felt this one today when we saw the news. So we ask everyone to please be respectful at this time and pause your conversations as we pay respect to the great DJ Smoke. May he rest in eternal peace. Thank you so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you. It's so hard sometimes when we hear about people leaving us right before events like these that they would have been a part of. So we had to make sure that we acknowledged him. Trust me, he's played such a pivotal role in entertainment in Jamaica. It's true, am I lying? Am I telling the truth? Anybody inside here didn't know DJ Smoke? We can bust a blank for DJ Smoke, please? Can we make some noise for DJ Smoke, please? Yes, man. Long live his legacy. Long live his legacy. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we, of course, we've been celebrating our partners, and at this time, I'm inviting to the stage Sean Wallace, Head of Commerce for Red Stripe. Red Stripe, keeping us in the right spirit for the entire festival. Reggae Sunfest don't happen without Red Stripe. We know that, right? Sean, where are you, Sean? Come on up. Come on up, Sean. Come on up. Sean, come on up. Where's Sean? Sean is making his way to the stage, after which we're going to have some videos. Oh, he's parking. Okay, all right, no problem. We'll just move on to the other one then. All right, well, if Sean is parking, we can then ask that you turn your attention to the screen as we hear from our other sponsors and partners. First up with Cinco, then Pepsi, then TVJ and H&L. Please turn your attentions to the screen. All right. The video not ready. The video not ready. The video not ready. You know, so we can't speak on behalf of Cinco. I could say thanks very much to Reggae Sunfest for having this festival year after year, and we have to make sure so we sponsor and support it. We Cinco carrying all kind of beverage this year and keeping everybody hydrated.
Today's team Sumfest, distinguished guests, fellow sponsors, and members of the media, good evening. I'm Khadija Henry, marketing coordinator for Boom Energy Drink, and it is my pleasure to extend a warm welcome to each of you. Get ready to feel the vibes and be powered by the #1 lifestyle drink, Reggae Sunfest 2024. Boom Energy Drink, supported by water through Simple Ways, thrilled to sponsor the ultimate celebration of the greatest reggae festival on earth. We are ready to power all the unforgettable performances, electrifying events, and non-stop vibes. You can expect to be entertained by our DJs, and all our exclusive content, giveaways, and brand execution. Follow us on social, Boom Energy, and take over Catherine Hartman, Tigo Vale. This summer, Boom Energy Drink intends to keep you charged up for every beat, every moment, every memory at the Caribbean Airlines Reggae Sunfest 2024. Boom Energy Drink, powering the culture.
Big up to Cinco. Make some noise for Cinco, please. Yeah, man. Thank you so much, Cinco. And now we're going to be hearing from Pepsi.
Hello, everyone. My name is Antonia Dino, and I am the brand coordinator at Pepsi Cola Jamaica. Pepsi is incredibly proud to once again be the official non-alcoholic beverage sponsor for Reggae Sunfest, a festival that has been the cornerstone of Jamaica's music music and culture for over 30 years. We're excited to showcase our new campaign, New Beats, Same Jamaican Flavor, at the festival, which highlights our fresh look while maintaining the same great taste Jamaicans have come to trust and love over the years. In the lead up to Sumfest 2024, we encourage everyone to follow our social media pages at Pepsi Jamaica because we will be doing lots of exciting competitions and giveaways. And of course, during the festival, we are encouraging all patrons to visit our booth as we will have some of the trendiest influencers stopping by. Again, we thank you for your continued support and see you there.
Thank you so much, Pepsi. Can we hear the Pepsi, please? And you know we had to have the greatest television station in the country, TVJ, as part of Reggae Sunfest. So at this time, let's hear from TVJ.
The RJR Gleaner Communications Group is again pleased to be the premium media partner for Reggae Sunfest, the premier musical festival celebrating reggae, dancehall, and our unique Jamaican culture. With our ability to provide full, all-purpose media coverage and promotion for the events via our top-rank television, cable, radio, and print services, or OTT platform, One Spot Media, an engagement of more than 3.5 million followers on social media, the RG Group will again deliver a partnership experience that is second to none. The official television station, Television Jamaica, the hottest cable station, RETV, radio's entertainment capital, Fame 95 FM, and Jamaica's #1 reggae and sports station, Hits 92 FM, cemented by the Caribbean's leading newspapers, The Gleaner and The Star, are the main vehicles that will deliver to Jamaica, the Caribbean, and the world all the information to keep you in the know leading up to the festival. There will also be highlights of the electrifying performances Reggae Sunfest 2024 will deliver, along with the fashion, the food, sights and sounds from this cultural experience that only Reggae Sunfest delivers. It will be a great show, and we are pleased again to partner.
Thank you so much, the RJR Gleaner Communications Group. Make some noise for them, please. Hey, we're going to make some noise for TVJ, the place I'm going to work on, me go home. Make some noise for TVJ, please. Oh, okay, all right, cool. I will send my boss on you. Hello. All right, I don't know why we are having a video with the gentleman who's actually right in front of me, but H&L, of course, Reggae Sunfest, always with H&L.
Reggae Sunfest, our music, our festival. H&L is proud to be a part of this iconic cultural event that sets the bar not only with its world-class production, but in the many ways it powers the Jamaican economy. With 96 years of history, we at H&L have been a part of the evolution of Jamaica. Today, we are more than just a hardware store. We're the foundation of homes, businesses, farms, and gardens, and really the backbone of so many communities. Similarly, this festival is the foundation of what Jamaica represents in the world. And just as Sumfest unites people through music, H&L creates the spaces where people come together. The way we look at it, Sumfest and H&L are the bedrock of Jamaica, and together we're building Jamaica beat by beat. See you guys at Sumfest 2024.
All right, make some noise, please, for H&L. Thank you so much, Marcos, for your video, and thank you for being here with us this evening. Thank you so much to Wasinco, Pepsi, TVJ, H&L, only some of our partners, right? And we saw the videos for those, but at this time, we have the representatives of the other sponsors. So I want to get through to all of them right now because we have some other presentations coming up. So first up, we have from Secrets, Durban Shaw, Associate Director of Sales. Where's Durban? Just coming from Secrets in a down there nice spot. Woo. Oh gosh. Can we welcome Durban Smith, please? Durban Shaw. Mr. Shaw, come on up. And I see that our representative from Red Stripe is now here. We're going to hear from Secrets first. You don't look like them. Anyways. I mean, you're way more gorgeous. You should tell him.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Denise Solerio, Area Commercial Director for Jamaica for Secrets St. James, Secrets Wild Orchid, and Breathless Montego Bay. We're glad to be part of this event, and as last year, being one of the main sponsors for the fest. Thank you.
Thank you so much. We appreciate you. Appreciate Secrets. Thank you so much for accommodating us with such fine style and good hospitality over the years. Big up to Secrets. Big up to Breathless and the entire team doing big things down there. All right. So we have with us Mr. Sean is actually here in the building. Sean Wallace, come on up. Red Stripe. They've been with us now for a very long time. And as you can see, Sean, already, you know, Sean, who y'all look forward to? Come, tell me, night one. Who you looking forward to? Night one. Tell me.
I don't want to talk about that right now.
Okay. Anybody looking forward to for night two?
Not yet.
Okay, all right. So the mic here, Sean.
Good evening. Sorry for the delay. Thank you so much for being here. I'm late, so I'm going to assume that all protocols have been observed. And as such, I just want to thank everybody for coming out for the launch. For us at Red Stripe, it's a great pleasure to partner with Sumfest. We've been with Sumfest since the inception 30 years ago, but 31 this year. And through that time, we've had many memorable moments, many memorable experiences. This is a partnership that perfectly blends some of the elements that make Jamaica so different and so special. Sumfest is the greatest music festival, or greatest reggae music festival in the world. It's been here for 31 years, and through that time we've had many iconic moments. I remember the first year, 1993, Supercat almost mashed up the place. I remember 1994, Garnet Silk had his lone appearance at Sumfest, also mashed up the place. Of course, two of my favorite are actually on both sides of the spectrum. There was 2016, Lady Saw, and then last year, Minister Marion Hall. So we at Red Stripe are always proud to be a part of Jamaican culture, Jamaican music, and there's no better expression of Jamaican culture and music than Reggae Sunfest. Thank you, Mr. Bogdanovich and team, for partnering with us. Everybody here, we look forward to wonderful moments, wonderful experiences. Of course, we're going to encourage everybody to drink and live responsibly. And thank you for your time.
Thank you so much, Sean. But you did mention the people who you've loved over the years. Thank you so much for that. 1993 Supercat. Anybody remember Supercat in 1993? One person alone said, remember Supercat in 1993. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you very much. Anybody remember Garnet Silk the Great? My gosh, 1994, Garnet Silk. Oh, of course. There has not been another one, trust me, quite like Garnet. And who remember Minister Marion? Anybody get them Bible last year? I still have my Bible from last year. I got my Bible and my olive oil consecrated from Minister Marion all from last year. Anybody get them Bible from last year? Okay, all right, good. Praise the Lord. God is good. So like I'm not sure. God is good all the time.
My Mega With so much to do in one location, make Megamart your one-stop shop. Pick up your groceries and houseware needs, grab a bite and pay some bills, fill your prescriptions and see the beauty products in our pharmacy. All in one amazing location. My Megamart, the best value by far.
yet I need my little memory help here. So I don't know if Minister Bartlett arrived or not. I guess not. All right, but Reggae Sunfest organizers, member of the media, member of the Ray and Review team, ladies and gentlemen, good evening to you all. So in the world of entertainment in Jamaica, rum and reggae are a perfect pair. You can't beat that. So it's only natural that us at Ray and Review, we join force with the great Reggae Sunfest team and sign a 3-year partnership that will see our brand collaborating for, I hope, much longer than that. But we're very happy, Joe, that we're starting with you, and we're looking forward for what's coming up. So, for us, Ray and Review, Reggae Sunfest is not just another festival. It's really the celebration of our music and our wider dynamic culture. So we see this as a marriage beyond mere sponsorship. It's about investing in the future of Jamaica's music and the incredible creative talents who breathe life into it. But on top of music, this year is also a significant occasion for us, and I guess for us all, also for you, Joe, and your team, because for the first time, the now famous Opportunity Jamaica Rum Festival will be integrated into the Reggae Sunfest weeks of events. So the Jamaican Rum Festival has earned its place among the world's premier events. It offers a distinctive and first-class experience that celebrates Jamaican excellence through its international prize-winning rum brands. We will have the opportunity to explore the world of Jamaican rum production, tastings, and seminars. There are a number of other fun and interesting activities. Let me also mention that another of our great brands, Magnum 20,
takes place at the Racers Grand Prix, Saturday, June 1 at the National Stadium. World champion Noah Lyles, British record holder Zarnell Hughes, Africa's fastest man Ferdinand Amanyala, and Jamaica's favorite Oblique Seville battling the 100 meters. World champion Antonio Watson takes on champion Allison. Olympic champion Hansel Parchment graces the track in his pet event. St. Lucian hotshot Julian Alfred goes up against the young Jamaican Joel Alana Reid. Devin Charlton takes on Akira Nugent. Tickets available at racersgrandprix.com, mysticonlinetix.com, and the Jamaica Pegasus starting May 24. Finish line $5,000, regular grandstand $3,000, bleachers $500. Don't miss a great night experiencing Jamaica's track and field, passion and entertainment.
So, can you just say, my wife as well, right here, my beautiful wife, Claudia. Anyway, thanks to all of you for coming tonight, for your support and shares to the exciting and entertaining activities that are coming up. Have a great evening. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Jean-Philippe Bear, and congratulations on becoming a Jamaican officially. You know, in Jamaica, you have to change your name from Jean-Philippe, and you have to call him Master Philippe, and Mr. Philippe. Right? I have to give you a Jamaican name. Dominic, we need to work on a name, please. We have to work on a name, right? That's suitable a Jamaican name. But we say big thanks to J.O. and Lucky for partnering with Reggae Sunfest, because, as Jean-Philippe rightly said, reggae and spirit, rum, it goes so well together hand in hand. It really puts you in the ideal mood that you need to be in to enjoy a festival like Reggae Sunfest. We're happy to have them back on board. Thank you so much, sir. Now, we're going to and at this time, I'm inviting to the stage Trudy Chin, Acting General Manager for Cartel Airline, Jamaica. Thank you so much, Trudy. I thought you were going to come out with the ladies earlier on, Trudy. We thank Cartel Airlines for covering the entire region and for taking the people here in style and comfort to Reggae Sunfest. Good to see you.
Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, good evening. Welcome home to Montego Bay and to Reggae Sunfest. It's an absolute honor to join you as we set the stage for another unforgettable Reggae Sunfest. After the release of the 2024 lineup, I've had quite a bit of a social media resurgence, but that's the power of music, isn't it? I'm delighted to see familiar faces here tonight. And 3 of my colleagues made a trip from Trinidad, especially for tonight's launch, highlighting just how important this festival is to Caribbean Airlines and our shared Caribbean culture. I want to express our deepest gratitude to the Reggae Sunfest team, led by Joe Bogdanovich. Your belief in this festival's power to unite people, celebrate our culture, and showcase the best of reggae and dancehall is truly inspiring to us. Caribbean Airlines is proud to return as the presenting sponsor for this iconic festival. For us, it's not just about the music, it's about celebrating the heart and the soul of our Caribbean culture, which thrives on rhythm in so many forms as we know it. Our partnership with Reggae Sunfest is a perfect match. Just as Caribbean Airlines connects people across the region, Reggae Sunfest connects us all through the universal language of music, a symphony of togetherness, and we're thrilled to be a part of it once again this year. So watch for Reggae Sunfest Jet. It's a symbol of Caribbean pride. Sumfest Thursday will have a special flight coming in from Trinidad and Barbados to Montego Bay, just in another way showing that we are one Caribbean family, united by our music and our culture. I've experienced Reggae Sunfest many times, and each year it leaves me with such a profound sense of pride. Pride in being Jamaican and Caribbean. It is truly our music, our festival. Its electric energy, infectious rhythms, delicious food, and warm people capture everything that makes our region special. It's the best, really, condensed into one incredible experience. Reggae Sunfest this year promises to be an epic celebration, and we can't wait to share it with you again. Here at Catherine Hall, where the spirit of reggae lives and breathes, where the spirit of dancehall lives and breathes. And remember to look out for a Reggae Sunfest jet. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Wow, Reggae Sunfest has its own jet. Oh my gosh. Can we hear a please for Caribbean Airlines? Yes. Oh my gosh, big deal business, that's when I love it. Thank you so much, Caribbean Airlines, for partnering with Reggae Sunfest and making sure that we're getting the people here in fine style, really well done, really well branded. We're looking forward to seeing what this looks like. Of course, when it takes off from the airport, please somebody get this shot, man. Let's get a shot. She's Now, I just noticed that our Minister of Tourism is now with us. Good evening to you, sir. The Honourable Edmund Bartlett is here. This would not be possible, of course, without your endorsement, sir. So we say thank you for being here. We're in your favorite city. We know how you feel about Mobile. We know how you feel about Mobile, Minister. Seriously. We're happy to be here again. So, ladies and gentlemen, we just heard from all of our sponsors, all of our partners. Now it's time to take a look at the Reggae Sunfest pre-events, right? So as you know, before night 1 and 2, July 19 and July 20, there are other events happening with Reggae Sunfest that you can be a part of. So while we line up that video, I'm also going to be inviting to the stage Corner Burrell. Please come on up, sir. As soon as this video plays, we want you to get into talking about Reggae Sunfest support for the community. But ladies and gentlemen, please turn your attention to the screen and let's take a look.
This Father's Day, escape to the Pampered Temple for ultimate relaxation. Adam and Eve Day Spa. All treatments are infused to melt your tension and remove stress. Pampered Dad with a massage, facial, body treatment, and mani-pedi. Unwind at Adam and Eve and enjoy complimentary Pure Country juices and Johnny Walker. But now at www.adamandevedayspaja.com. Purchase gift certificates. Call 876-754-6017 or WhatsApp 876-567-2142 for details.
Nationwide 90 FM is at it again. Team Revolution will clear every hurdle and sprint to the finish line as we cover the games of the 33rd Olympiad from Paris, the city of love.
Fraser Price gets the start, and look at this, Ahuri going well, and here they're coming to close it down. Jetta's coming through, but Fraser Price on the near side, the Olympic champion defends! She defends the title! Wonderful run by Shelly Ann.
Nationwide's coverage is powered by our diamond sponsor, Pizza Hut. Now, that's delivering from all locations, island-wide.
Variety is the spice of life. That's not just true for entertainment, it's true for investing too. While stocks, bonds, and cash are effective, there are other credible investment options out there. These are alternative investments, ranging from digital options like cryptocurrencies to old school investments like gold, real estate, and private equity. You can invest on your own or via a fund with a curated portfolio of investment options.
Visit barita.com/opportunities for more growth coach insights.
Nationwide 90 FM is at it again. Team Revolution will clear every hurdle and sprint to the finish line as we cover the games of the 33rd Olympiad from Paris, the city of love.
Fraser Price gets the start, and look at this, Ahuri going well, and here they're coming to close it down. Jetta's coming through, but Fraser Price on the near side, the Olympic champion defends! She defends the title! Wonderful run by Shelly Ann.
Nationwide's coverage is powered by our diamond sponsor, Pizza Hut. Now, that's delivering from all locations, island-wide.
Of Montego Bay as Sumfest City for the month of July by the Mayor of St. James last year launch, which is also celebrated on the 30th anniversary. This was a moment of immense pride for Reggae Sunfest team, solidifying our place as part of Montego Bay family. We at Reggae Sunfest deeply care about Montego Bay, which is why we have 2 events during the Reggae Festival Week, specifically for the community. The Reggae Sunfest Family Fun Day and the street dance. The street dance held on the Monday night, is free to the public and is our way of thanking the people for their warmth and hospitality. The Family Fun Day kicks off the week with rides for kids at a minimal cost and partnership with local organizers to provide free health and dental checks. Health screening also, this event provides platforms for local businesses to showcase their products and services. Since 2019, we've held an annual beach cleanup at Catherine Hall Beach in June as part of our sustainability program. This year, we're extending these activities into Montego Bay's Fisherman Beach, reinforcing our commitment to the community and its environment. Through this initiative, we continue to strengthen the bond between Reggae Sunfest and Montego Bay. We look forward to the festival's continued growth and the deepening of our relationship with the wonderful community. Whenever the idea of moving the festival comes up, our response is always resounding no. Montego Bay is and will always be the home of Reggae Sunfest. As we look to the future, let's remember that Reggae Sunfest is more than a festival. It's a celebration of our culture, our music, and our community. Together we will continue to make history, create unforgettable memories, and showcase the best of Jamaica to the world. Here's another incredible year of Reggae Sunfest. Let's make it the greatest year yet. Thank you very much. See you at Reggae Sunfest 2024.
Make some noise for Clap of the World, please. Thank you so much, Mr. Burrell, for aligning all to come before the two big nights, the two festival nights, and big up for the work that you continue to do in Montego Bay. You heard it out of Scatter's mouth. Reggae Sunfest is going nowhere. It's not coming out of Montego Bay, okay? When you hear Reggae Sunfest, you know Montego Bay is the place. It's the only place that you're going to see this festival happen. So it's good to hear that. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I have another video for you on the screen. It's about how it is that Reggae Sunfest is actually doing their part in the preservation of our environment. And so they have several eco-initiatives. So please, pay your attention to the screen for that video.
My name is Kedrin Campbell. I come from the Appleton Basic School. My favorite Olympic hero is Shelly Ann Fraser-Pryce.
Watch for Shelly Ann Fraser-Pryce.
Looking back now, I say there's no barrier when it comes to your passion and your calling as time honors your greatness. So I thank you so much, and I pray that you'll be an inspiration to all young girls, mainly the girls, to know that there's no limits when you believe what you believe and continue to work hard. We are strong, we are powerful, and most importantly, we are fearless.
It's glorious gold once again to Shelly Ann Fraser-Pryce.
Stay tuned to the Paris Olympic on Nationwide 90 FM. Yay!
I stay locked to the Olympics because, of course, I'm Jamaican. What do you mean? Me, I have to tune into the Olympics, man.